Bum bum bum. Alright. It's time for Jessica hype moments in Aura, which she has not had since episode 1. Let's go. Of course, since the time of her birth, Jessica had been raised in this mansion. The atrophied Western-style house that the cousins called the mansion was her home, and yet she had never understood her cousin's feelings as much as she did today. At the same time, she never felt her own home, which she knew well to be as alien as it seemed now. Her own room. This had once been her hideaway, the only place in this vast mansion where she could feel at peace. However, she had never felt as much pressure coming from that door as she did now. A test, you say? What the hell could be waiting in there? I'm not gonna find it in my desk and stuff dragged around all over the place, right? She acted tough, trying to deceive herself, trying to make herself believe that she wasn't scared or anything. Readying herself, she opened the door to her room. Yeah? Oh. When she saw that, fortunately, the room didn't appear to be messed up. She relaxed. No one was here. Of course. There was nowhere for anyone to hide here. Right away, Jessica locked the door behind her. This way, the room was safe. She peeked under the bed and in the closet, but of course no one was hiding. What the hell? She looked at the clock. It was just past 10 o'clock. As her tension lessened and fatigue came back to her entire body, she realized how messed up this whole day had been. And it was still around 23. The plan had been for all the cousins to gather, have fun playing around, and talk animatedly about various things together in the night. Normally, we would have been doing that kind of thing right now. Why has that turned into this? It's all that damn geezer's fault. How could he do that to Mom? To everyone? She shook her head back and forth with anger and sadness, but there was no one here to direct those emotions at. Because of that lock, this room's security was guaranteed. Remembering that one more time, Jessica somehow regained her calm. If it keeps up like this and nothing happens, I want to go to the dining hall and see Mom's dead face. Even though Golda emphasized so strongly that I was gruesome and that I definitely shouldn't go look at it, even so, I wanted to see her face at the end. But we were warned repeatedly against stepping out of line even a little would put the hostages in danger. Could it be that locking the door was also against the rules? If I close myself up in here, I alone might be saved. But if I don't open it, I'll surely be against the rules, and Dad, Kanon-kun, Shannon, Aunt Kairi, and Dr. Nanjo will be killed. There's no way the scales will balance out between 5 lives and my own 1 life. Jessica tightly shut her eyes, resisting the other part of herself that said, "Isn't it okay as long as I stay alive?" Faced the door and made it to unlock. The angel in my ear telling me to not rage bait because we gotta get these chapters out of the way, and devil in my ear telling me ease rage. I have no idea what you could rage bait about, so I vote on the side of the devil. That's my vote. At that time, a crisp applause rang out, making Jessica's heart leap. Yeah! If the door had remained locked, it might have been in violation of the rules and harm could become to the hostages. But despite that, your own life might be saved. However, you resisted the temptation and were about to unlock the door yourself. That bravery of yours is worthy of admiration. I, the owner of this room, searched everywhere a human could have been hiding. Where did this man come from? Oh, for fun, that's what you have to say? No. You're lucky that I trust you. I was about to remove your mod. And ban you, but I would be too lazy to give it back, and I trust you, so. Moving on. There is nowhere for a human to hide, but could something non-human have mentioned it? This was supposedly my first time meeting with this largely built middle-aged man. I didn't recognize this guy, who looked like a butler and bore the crest of the one-winged eagle. A pleasure to meet you, Jessica-sama. I serve as head furniture for the master, the 27th of the 72. I am called Ronobe. Ronobe? Genji-san? Ah yes, Genji is like my little brother, or perhaps he was my true form while in this world. You might even say he was my vessel. What's this guy saying? That's funny though, I mean like, I knew that already, right? But I didn't expect the game to just say it outright. Okay. Funny. Oh, my apologies. This is not something a human would be able to understand. Well then, let us move on to the main event. So this is the test or whatever that Dan Geezer talked about. Ryukishu would never be subtle like me. I'm sorry, I forget that this game is for babies. Correct. This is the test that the master has granted you, Jessica-sama. Arunoba's elegant gesture, like that of a butler ordering for a meal to be set out. Many gold butterflies flew out of nowhere. Ah! What the hell? As a cloud of gold butterflies spun around in a small swirl, they gathered in one place. Then that gold mound disappeared like a pile of leaves blown away by a cold wintry wind. And there lay a western envelope with the one-winged eagle crest done on it in gold leaf. With a gesture, Ronobe urged her to pick that up. Jessica timidly did so and opened the letter inside. Actually, pause. No thinking. I'm sorry, it's just a very small thing. Last time I was saying how Shannon is going against the orders of Kinso to do her own thing, right? And that she's responsible for what's actually going on. But now, I'm thinking, like, the other servants are also in on this. Like, we have Virgilia and Ronobe, which are Genji and Kumasawa, also existing in these episodes. So that either means that my theory of Shannon being a tool for Kinso is correct, but she just, at moments, she goes behind his back to do her own plans of revealing the truth of the Beatrices. Or all the servants are in on it to expose Kinso's secrets. I don't think it's the latter. So I'm back to thinking about the former. That Kinso is using Shannon for his purposes of the ritual, but Shannon at times is going against his wishes for her own purposes. What's this? It is an exceedingly simple test to determine whether one is qualified to become the successor. Please attend to the question written there with a fitting attitude of the successor who is to support the Ushiramiya family. And tell me your answer as well as the thoughts that led you to it. The dumbass. Shaking, Jessica looked between the paper and Ronove's face several times. At that time, George had been called out from after Jessica could be seen in the arbor of the rose garden. If things had gone normally, he had planned to give Shannon the ring that would be proof of their engagement here at this time on this day. But the woman in front of George was not Shannon. Read it. That is Goldsmith's test for you. George picked up the western envelope which was on the table where he once had tea with Shannon, and read its contents. Perhaps his messaging was short. After glancing at it, George's eyes grew sharp. What's this supposed to be? It is as you see. This is the test given to you to see if you're qualified to be the successor. As you ask yourself whether you truly are so qualified, answer that question. What a stupid question. That's right. It really is a stupid question. Doesn't that mean the Ushiromiya family inheritance is also something on that level in Goldsmith's eyes? George lowered his eyes to the surface of the letter, once again examining its contents. George and Jessica. While the tests given to them were slightly different, they were almost exactly the same. Among the three mentioned below, in order to gain 2, sacrifice 1. It's a simple three choices. Decide for yourself which one you would choose to abandon. If you refuse to choose, the test will be suspended. I've been given permission to kill you right here by my own hands. If you want to include even that as a choice, then there are 4 options. It's been an awful long time since I got into play with a kid like you, so I can't say I'd be disappointed. Are these 3 choices only a test? Or will the consequences of my choice be carried out? Don't be so naive. The one you choose will definitely lose their life. Among the 3 mentioned below. I'll read it in Kindle's voice. Among the 3 mentioned below, in order to gain 2, sacrifice 1. 1. Your life. 2. Shannon's life. 3. Everyone else's lives. So it means that if he kills himself, everyone and Shannon live. If he kills Shannon, everyone and himself lives. If he kills everyone, himself and Shannon live. That's rough. That's rough. Hi, Sims. Yeah. George would kill himself, definitely, I think. I don't know, no. George would pick to kill everyone, I think, from what we know of him. Shannon is not an option. He would either kill everyone or himself, and I think he doesn't have... He would kill everyone. That's my final decision. He would choose number 3. I'm guessing Jessica says either Kraus or Kanon as the second answer. Jessica... I don't know. It doesn't feel like she would pick any of them. Jessica would be the type to fight it instead because of how hard-headed she is. She would choose none of the answers. You know what? No time for character analysis. Let's just continue. No thinking.
If you do not choose one, all of the above will be lost.
Why is Shannon's name here? The second choice was the name of the one most needed and most loved by the test taker. I believe Kanon's name is written the second on Jessica's test. You gave the stupid question to Jessica too. You shouldn't be worried about Jessica, right? Right now, you are the one being tested. It really is a simple 3-choice test. Which can you throw away for the sake of the other 2? Isn't that simple? If you still can't decide, would you like me to lend you a coin? I also think the correct answer is to kill yourself. For everyone. Everyone needs to pick kill themselves because that means that they're saving everyone else. So let's say George decides to give his life and Jessica decides to give her life. By giving his life, George has saved Jessica's life. And by giving her life, Jessica has saved George's life because George and Jessica count as the third option of everyone else that are being saved. So everyone, it's like a type of prisoner's dilemma. Everyone needs to pick to kill themselves so that by that, they have picked to save everyone. Of course, this is not gonna happen, and it's most likely that the third option doesn't include the test takers, and by everyone else it just means the hostages. But I think it was a funny thought, a funny loophole that they're not going to mention. Or maybe Butler would mention it, but he would be turned down by being explained that it only counts the hostages, not the test takers. I would, yeah. I'm sorry. You know what? I want to think about what Jessica would pick. I think George would kill himself. Now, let me think what Jessica would pick. I think Jessica would pick to kill Kanon. I think the pressure of having so many lives on her hand would eat her. But she is still too quote-unquote selfish to want to kill herself. So she would pick one life, Kanon. Butler I don't know what Butler would pick. That's enough. Moving on. No, let me see. Let me give you the answer for Butler. I wanna give an answer so that everyone picks differently, but no. Butler, I think he would also sacrifice Kairi. Maybe. That one's like rough. Butler's choice is really rough. He wouldn't kill everyone. So it's between Kairi or himself. But I don't think he would pick himself. So I think he would pick Kairi as well. And then Maria. Who does she even have? Rosa is dead. So I think Maria would pick to kill everyone because she thinks that everyone will be in the Golden Land. So there you go. Wait, did I read that? If you still can decide, would you like me to lend you a coin? A coin? How would you choose between 3 options with something that only has 2 sides? No one would throw away their own life. So there remain 2 choices that will leave you standing. Will you give up on everyone for the sake of the one you love? Or will you give up on this one person you love so that you can save as many people as possible? Either way, you should be able to find a fitting just cause. After all, this Ronkenjima is now a demon island. The sentimental relationships of the human world aren't necessary here. No one will blame you. Do as your heart desires. And ask yourself whether you're qualified to succeed the Ushiromiya family headship. Or rather, make your decision as if you truly were the Ushiromiya family head, okay? On that line of thinking, like, I think the answer that here's the thing, here's the funny thing though. I don't know, okay, so, if thinking on what Kinso would want. Kinso would want for you to choose to kill everyone. Because you know how Kinso is. He has this infatuation with his supposed one true love, Beatrice. So by seeing someone decide to kill everyone to save who they love most, like he is currently doing, he would find them worthy. But if Shannon is the one who wrote the letter, I'm sorry. It's quick. Shut up, I'm not reading chat. I think Shannon... It's just, I don't know how Beatrice-ified Shannon is. Because she has love in her heart. Beatrice doesn't. So it's again like how I was saying, like Kanon and Shannon are different because they're like... Kanon is what remained in Kuwadorian after the trauma there, and Shannon is a new person who moved on from the trauma of Kuwadorian. I think Shannon would want you to pick to kill yourself, but Beatrice-ified Shannon would want you to sacrifice the one you love because love is fake and it don't matter and you gotta throw that away, I guess. Anyways, we're reading. Fuck you guys mocking me like this! Jessica crumpled the letter up and threw it on the floor. I believe your anger is quite appropriate. I also find it exceedingly pitiful and yet truly humorous question. How could anyone wish to die themselves? And how could anyone want to remain alive through abandoning the life of the one they love? And how could anyone massacre everyone else as long as it's good for the two of them? No, Jessica-sama. Such a person could exist. This is Ronkejiwa, the demon island. It is now completely cut off from the human world and fully immersed in the spirit world like the chess fondue. I guess in a way you can see each answer as one of the three players. The three like main masterminds behind the story. Kinso would pick to sacrifice everyone. Shannon would pick to kill herself. And Beatrice would pick to kill the one they love. That's how I see it. Values of the human world would get taken out with the trash. So please, rank the things you desire from the bottom of your heart. Whatever remains will become a fitting answer for you in this insane evening. Screw you! How could I choose any of these? If you do not choose one, all of the above will be lost. Also makes for a fine fourth option. Even choosing that should give us an amusing show. I just realized Maria would pick that. Maria would pick the fourth option. So maybe it is a thing that all four of them will pick something different. Okay. George would pick to kill everyone. Jessica will pick to kill Kanon. Butler will pick to kill himself. And Maria will won't pick, will choose the secret fourth option. So that's gonna be the gimmick, they all have to choose something different to make it interesting. Shut up, I'm engaging with the story, shut up! But since that choice will result in the loss of your own life, in the end I believe it would be more wise to be pure and choose the first one, your life, so that the other two will be safe. Everything has been entrusted to your decision, Jessica-sama. Please let me hear an answer and conviction fitting for the successor to the Ushirimiya family headship. I, Ronabe, am sincerely hoping for a wonderful answer, fitting for the master's descendant who shares his blood. Damn it! We should have known streamers' titles have always been misleading. Other games are about Homestuck makes sense. Hey, I mean, it is true. That is true. That scene was observed through the magic crystal ball Kinso held. Kinso finally couldn't hold it back and spreading his arms and facing the heavens, he began laughing in an explosive voice.
What are you wavering for? Foolish grandchildren, my descendants! Isn't this problem so easy that you can answer right away? Isn't this a question that should cause you to waver less than whether to put butter or jam on your morning toast? Do you people know the correct answer?
He turned to face the Chester sisters who had been waiting on him. No, my apologies. I don't know, Lord Goldsmith.
Fool! Not choosing at all means game over! You foolish rabbit who cannot even choose a reason or a goal for your own life! You aren't worth a single ant that anyone might step upon without even noticing! Die! Be crushed! Disappear faster than I can blink! And what of you?
I would sacrifice the first one, your own life, sir. Weapons fight and die in battle, and weapons exist to destroy enemies and protect allies. Being able to protect those we love and then die is our satisfaction, sir.
Oh, a truly splendid model answer for a weapon. The immediate reply is very nice. But you're wrong! So have you been raised to think you'll be given an extra carrot for answering that way? That's wrong, see? Even that is wrong, see? Answering that way when you are asked is nothing more than giving the answer you have been indoctrinated with. You are the same as that other rabbit a second ago. You still live without having chosen a purpose or goal to strive for. You filth that doesn't deserve to live. I would suit you well to be crushed and used as fodder for the other livestock.
Yes, sir. Animal fodder would be an honor.
That's wrong, right? You don't want to see anyone else die anymore, right? Why can't you accept that? Answer that! Accept that the depths of your own wound are still festering and rotting. Yes, the rotting stench would make the nose wrinkle, you foolish, rotten rabbit. These are words of praise for you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Well then, what about you, the last one? Which of the three choices would you choose?
Without wavering, I choose the second one.
The second. There are not many who could stick their chest out and choose to offer the one they love as a sacrifice. Tell me your reason.
Because the one you love will be lost eventually. If you don't love anyone, you won't get hurt, and if you lose someone, you still might be able to love again. So, the person you love right now isn't worth that much at all, yeah?
I see. So that is the way you reach such an answer, you rabbit who has become cowardly from pain caused by love. I have heard that rabbits can die from loneliness, but just when was it that your heart was killed? Then, rabbit, I shall alter the question. Why do they change the second option to not the one you love, but the memories of the one you loved? How is that? Can you still select that one? What's this about the one you love not being worth much at all, foolish rabbit? Filth who cannot even face up to the depths of her own love! Try and choose it! Try and choose to have the one you loved forgotten! You can do it, right? I'll bet you can, right? Come on, try say that you can, okay?
Yes, I can choose it. I can choose it. Lord Goatsmith, please stop this.
Enough rabbit filth! Go to Virgilia and help keep watch of the dungeon. Disappear!
The Chester sisters, with their respective old wounds of the heart gouged out, escaped by disappearing. After that, even though there was no one to hear, Kinsu continued talking by himself as though in a play.
Indeed, that is the nature of this charming test. In truth, no choice can be said to be correct. Whichever answer they choose, it is about whether they can choose without hesitation, quickly, and with the resolute conviction in their own strong, unshakable will. It's their reason and their willpower that are most essential. That is what I want to learn. Yes, my descendants, I am truly looking forward to what kind of answer you will show me. Me? Yes, of course. I once had the same question thrust upon me. Because I splendidly answered that devil's question, I was able to obtain gold and honor, and that which has my possession. Which answer did I choose? Do you really need me to say it out loud?
No, you don't, because I already know. You would sacrifice everyone. Just to keep you and your love safe. The fact that he very much made fun of the other options confirmed it for me. Well then, have you nearly decided on your answer? Go. Jessica stared at that letter that had been crushed and lay on the floor. She hung her head in constant silence. So the thing that I wasn't like... I was just saying it as choosing one, not ranking them. So Jessica's ranking would be to sacrifice Kanon first, sacrifice herself second, sacrifice everyone third. All that filled the room was the stir from wind and rain shaking the treetops. Regardless of how noisy that it was, it actually made the stillness more apparent. Ronove waited for Jessica's answer. However, Jessica didn't answer. Whether she was lost in deep thought or had stopped thinking, Ronove couldn't tell. No, he might actually have known. But cruelly like a demon, Ronove urged Jessica to voice it. If you cannot choose any, I can at least bring you peace without pain, but... Me. Crap! I was wrong. Minus 100 points for me. Which means... Honestly, yeah, I'm stupid. I should have known Butler would choose to sacrifice the one he loves most because he doesn't really love anyone that much. The whole point of the game is that he is learning to love as well. So yeah, I said that Butler would be the one to sacrifice himself, but no, I think Butler would sacrifice the one he loves most. Which is funny because that was my first answer for Butler before I redid them all. But herself was never my answer for Jessica, so I was just wrong in that one. Yes, I had trouble hearing. Could you say it again, please? Jessica lifted her face and looked straight into Ronove's eyes. It seemed that she had decided on her answer. Kill me. Jessica said it one more time, clearly. Perhaps Ronove had imagined that this would be her answer from the very beginning. Without any surprise, he smiled lightly and nodded. I thought you would choose that answer, Jessica-sama. Well then, there is no right or wrong answer to this test. The essential part is what thoughts led you to that answer. Come now. Please answer with a fitting attitude for the successor. It's not like I choose the first one because I want to die. The second one was letting Kanon-kun die. Of course, that was out of the question, so I excluded it. The third one was everyone else's lives. Of course, that was also out of the question, so I excluded it. After that, only the first choice remained.
Process of elimination, is it? So, it was not something you chose proactively.
After chuckling slightly, Ronove dropped his gaze. A human cannot even imagine what answer a demon would have been expecting. All she could understand was that this was apparently slightly below Ronove's expectations.
That answer is neither bad nor good. 60%, I believe you could call it. I am a little disappointed.
You're a pretty selfish bastard, telling me to answer with self-confidence and then being disappointed when I do.
Apparently, there was more to it than process of elimination. It's a failing grade either way, but there seems to be a little more to your thoughts. Allow me to ask.
People don't want to die, so no one would choose the first option. People want to live in happiness and struggle as much as life will let them, so normally the first choice should be impossible from the beginning.
However, you took the first choice. You chose to throw away your own life. Only that choice remained for you.
I tried thinking of the future that would come after choosing each one.
Oh? And what did you say?
First, I tried letting Kanon-kun die. I tried to imagine the rest of my life after having abandoned the one I love.
What kind of life was it?
It was a horrible woman who didn't deserve to live. A shabby woman who always lamented her own decision and lived only to regret. I could never forgive a horrible woman who chose to live and abandon the person she loved. I put an end to her myself.
How brave. So, did you also consider the third option?
Yeah, I tried letting everyone but me and Kanon-kun die. There's no way Kanon-kun would like me if I did that. So again, even with Kanon-kun, I was forced to bear the cross of abandoning so many people. And even Kanon-kun was forced to bear it. I'm not gonna make a foolish choice that leaves Kanon-kun bearing that cross. I wouldn't be able to forgive a future me who did something like that. I put an end to that woman myself too. Jessica had pictured it in her mind. The future her beyond each of the three choices. There were three Jessicas. Of the three, two had regrets. Only one could hold her head high and smile at Kanon. You know, I once had the nerve to preach something to Kanon-kun. Something about trying to live life to the fullest.
Live your life to the fullest. Meaningful words. And a surprisingly difficult thing to do.
So yeah, I gotta stand proud and show Kanon-kun. Show him how to live by holding your head high and looking straight at the sun with a full smile.
Will Kanon be able to accept your self-sacrifice? Haven't you thought that your selfish decision might hurt him more than is necessary?
That's why I want to leave a message.
Oh? I will listen, but I am after all a demon. I may not keep my promises, you see.
Keep it! Your promise. Jessica spoke that looking quite unconcerned. She had asked the demon who was about to take her life to pass on a message, and she didn't think at all that she would be betrayed. At that extremely innocent smile, Ronove closed his eyes slightly and shrugged his shoulders.
I see nothing wrong with that. So, what shall I tell him?
Tell Kanon-kun to live his life to the fullest. No, that's not quite it. Not Kanon-kun. He still hasn't told me his real name yet. Tell the real Kanon-kun to live his life to the fullest. Tell him that.
My lady. Jessica, you really were.
Ronove is fickle, so he might not have passed the message on. You certainly are fortunate to have me here showing you this scene. A musty three-sided mirror was set beyond the bars, and the scene with Jessica was reflected on it. On the next mirror, the scene with Jory was reflected in the same way. None of them questioned how a three-sided mirror had appeared from a group of butterflies. Nor did they wonder why these scenes with Jessica and Jory were reflected on it, because the reflected scenes themselves were more important.
Are you prepared to throw your life away for his sake?
My apologies. Karaos looked at Kanon with a complicated expression mixed in with a bitter smile. Kanon wouldn't meet his eyes. Virijulia-sama, there is no reason for my lady to throw her away her life. Please kill me. Please change it to the second choice. That way everything would resolve itself. I am not capable of granting that wish. After all, this is Jessica's own decision which she herself chose. Okay, break. I want to talk about it. Amazing scene. That scene, perfect. That was wonderful. That is better than anything I was talking about before this scene. Screw all my predictions. Screw all that. It's about more than that. It's about the characters, and that was beautiful. And it reminded me why I like Jessica so much, despite her peaking in episode 1. Everything she said made sense. And I liked it a lot. And it made me happy. Let me think. Right. I want to talk about what it means. Let me drink water. It won't be long. It makes her choice makes sense because that's the whole thing. Like I said it before. Like, didn't I make her breath aspect in my Homestuck thing? Breath is freedom, learning to live, you know? So it makes sense that for her, the thought process was about the future, about looking ahead, about do not even shut up, it's important, about looking ahead, the future, and what type of person she will become. Because at the end of everything, she doesn't really want to stay chained to this family. She wants to be herself. It's why she does the singing at her school. She wants to have a future full of dreams and a future that she chose that she can be proud of. So it makes sense that her choices were about what type of person she will become in these futures of these choices. So it was very lovely, and I like it a lot, and it was nice. That is all. Start clicking. I will. Shut up. That's it. That was all. It was nice. It was nice. At that time, suddenly the air split and the Chester sisters appeared, flying into Virgilia's chest. Virgilia-sama! So mean, so mean. Lord Goldsmith is so mean. I'm doing the best I can. Crushing me from animal fodder. That's just too much. Oh, God. Virgilia, who still didn't have a clue what was going on, was mobbed by the sobbing Chester sisters. There. Everything's alright, but don't cry. I'll make you some delicious tea. I'm leaving it up to you all to guard this place. If they do something suspicious, inform me immediately. The god attendants all face each other, nodding their heads. Virgilia took the Chester sisters and left. The sound of them going upstairs could be heard, so they had probably gone to the upper floor. This is our chance. It looks like the 3 goat heads are morons. I wonder if we can trick them. Kairi realized that an opportunity had arrived, but even so, she hadn't thought of a way to break the metal bars. The Jessica reflected on the 3-sided mirror had her eyes closed as though in contemplation. The way she had both hands stuck into her pockets, wanted to be defiant until the very end, might have been her own aesthetic stance. That's all I have to say. Kill me. Understood? Well then, fear not, for I shall make your death more gentle and merciful than any sleep. As Ronove raised his palm, he slowly approached Jessica.
Damn it! No!
Realizing that his daughter was about to be killed, Kraus went half mad and repeatedly body slammed the metal bars. The goats looked like they were sneering at how a mere human couldn't stand a chance at breaking those bars. Kraus' pointless efforts were certainly may have been comical, but Kraus was giving it everything he had. He was now living with all he had as Jessica's father, so that he couldn't save her. Kanon made tight fists with both hands. If he used his cursed power, he might be able to cut through even metal bars, but there were a full 3 goats. There was no way he could defeat 3 of them in an instant. It would instantly be reported, and then even Virgilia and the Chester sisters would probably dash in. Even if he could break the bars, that would be the end of it. It was useless. Kanon already knew that the witch sneered at useless efforts like that, so he could do nothing but stare at Kraus's repeated body slams.
George-sama.
Shannon, who had been looking at the 3-sided mirror, raised her voice. When they looked, they could see George, who had been silent the whole time, lift his face. It seemed that George had also decided on an answer.
Have you decided on your answer?
Yeah, I've decided.
It's an unwavering answer.
Yeah, it's unwavering.
Then, let me hear it. Oh, by the way, it seems Jessica decided to take the your life option. Surely such an indecisive person as you isn't going to choose the same answer, right?
Jessica gave her own answer. No matter which choice that was, it was Jessica's answer. It doesn't influence my answer in any way.
I see. Then, let me hear it. Among the 3 mentioned below, in order to gain 2, sacrifice 1. 1. Your life. 2. Shannon's life. 3. Everyone else's lives. Which one will you choose? Could it be the first one like Jessica?
Wrong.
Oh.
Gap looked a little surprised, because she had thought this timid-looking man would obviously choose that option.
Very well then. I'm glad the most boring option for me has been removed. Then, as crazy as it sounds, could it be the second option? Can you abandon Shannon's life?
You must be joking. Why would I do that to the person I was going to give an engagement ring tonight?
How bold! Is that your answer?
That's it. My answer is the 3rd option.
I'm smiling right now. I knew it. I'm glad I at least got that one right.
1 second.
Cool.
George took the 3rd option, everyone else's lives. Unsurprisingly, Gap hadn't imagined that he'd give an answer like that. She had been sure that he'd choose the same one as Jessica, so she was interested in how he had reached that answer. How he had reached an answer that had surpassed the imagination of the 33rd ranked of the 72 demons.
I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me the circumstances that made it possible for you to sacrifice the lives of everyone else so that you and the fiancé you love would be saved.
Boring ass, predictable story for babies. True!
Did you choose the process of elimination like Jessica?
Wrong.
To him, it was like the only answer. Killing himself means that he cannot spend his life with Shannon. Killing Shannon means that he cannot spend his life with Shannon. So, yeah, there was like, for him, it was straight to the point. There was nothing. There was nothing.
Drinking water. I clearly have no choice except this one. Hey, that's what I said!
So you don't care what happens as long as it's good for you. So you can sacrifice the world for the woman you love.
What are you even talking about?
What? George faced the demon as he spoke, almost as though he was disgusted.
Tonight, I plan on calling Shannon right here and giving her this ring as proof of our engagement. There was probably quite a few people who wouldn't celebrate an engagement between me and Shannon. I was prepared to make enemies of the entire family by announcing my engagement to her. I have been prepared. Since the time I came to this island... No, that's not it. Since the time I confessed that I wanted to engage her.
So you can sacrifice everything else as long as you can get married.
Marriage means continuing to be your wife's ally for your whole life. At that point, I was prepared to have the entire world as my enemy for her sake. Those words through the three-sided mirror also reached Shannon's ear. And that determination reached her eyes. Shannon certainly had promised to be given an engagement ring tonight. Then this incident had occurred and she hadn't been able to receive that ring. But now, even though it wasn't in the form of a ring, Shannon had received something even greater. And as proof of that, a single tear with the same sparkle as a diamond dripped down.
What a courageous answer! I see. If I really think about it, this was an easy decision for you. After all, your parents were already killed in the first Twilight, right? By now, there's no one whose death would trouble you. I see. Truly an easy choice.
Say whatever you want. This determination and choice are mine, and mine as the successor. The sparkle in George's eyes was brilliantly sharp. For just an instant, Gap felt the same sense of threat as Kinsel's, and was slightly overwhelmed.
I see. Yes, the same decision as Goldsmith.
Bruh! The whole thing was that they weren't gonna say Kinsel's answer. And she just, okay, whatever, bro. 1 second, let me get more water. I'm back. I don't know if you're making fun of me, Sims, or what, but sorry about that. I am mad that they said that. Because, oh my gosh, I lost my voice! No! What happened? The water. Okay, I don't think I can read anymore. I read too much, I guess. Episode 4 is never gonna getting finished. What happened in Rosaland? He picked the second option, wow. I mean, how bad do I sound? It's not too bad to talk. But how terrible do I sound? I want to finish the chapter at least. Anyways, I was saying that I am mad that they chose to reveal Kinsel's answer. Because I didn't want it to just be heavily implied. This dude has no subtlety. I got killed when I took that water break. This sucks because I want to finish. I know why too. It's because earlier today, I was doing some work that made me talk all day. So then, stopping that and coming here to do this killed my voice. I'm gonna power through at least just this George section, Then we're done. Because like Ruby says, it's too many chapters at once. I see, yes, the same decision as Goldsmith. So even with your innocent face, you will also become a terrible demon in the future. What do you know? We might get along pretty well. You will succeed, Goldsmith. Eventually, I may even be summoned and serve you. That could be surprisingly interesting. Gabha needed to change her opinion of George. This man bore a determination and resolve unimaginable from this outward appearance, and not just now, but since the very beginning. I am prepared to inherit the headship right away. No, that's not it. You told me to think as the head in this test, so I answered based on the premise that I am the head. No, even that's not it. I thought as the head himself. I am now the head of the Ushirimiya family. Splendid! To think that you'd be able to go so far. It seems you truly are one to be reckoned with. But Letters and Maria's tests remain, but I've got a good feeling that you'll pass. But only if this is your true, unexaggerated answer, you see. Actually, maybe I keep going until I have to do Maria, because I won't be able to do Maria with this voice. Do you doubt my resolve? Can you carry out the option you chose? Can you, right now, with your own hands, after all the lives that exist on this island as sacrifices, offer all the land by your own hand? I can. I've said I was prepared to do so several times.
Then return to the guest house right away and kill Butler and Maria. When that's done, I'll bring you the other hostages. Execute each of them except Shannon before her eyes. You can do it right.
I can. My resolve is on a whole different level from yours.
Then carry it out. Death for them all. Complete this bloodstained ceremony as the new Ushiromiya family head. I keep laughing because I keep thinking, who said it? Did bro in hell a balloon? I keep thinking of that. It's making me laugh.
Understood. I'll carry that all out. I'm already the Ushirima family head.
Yes, that's right. Stain the throne red by your own hands. You will become the king of the spirit world who controls the demons.
Gap was convinced. This man truly was fitting to succeed Kinso's madness.
Blow and cry thunder. Celebrate the birth of the new demon king. The demon island has now welcomed its new lord.
In response to the demon's call, a tempest raged more and more. Then a massive lightning bolt fell, its tearing thunder and brilliant light giving the sensation of a moment of silence. So, about the order of the murders. I get to choose that, right?
Please, as you wish, your majesty, the new demon king of Ronkenjima, as your heart desires.
Well then, to start, that means the first one's gonna be you. Got a problem with that?
A gust of wind blew, stirring up George's jacket as if it was a cloak. It was very much like the cloak worn by the head. It definitely carried the impression of dignity. Let him cook, let him cook. At this time, Gap truly did see the storm wiped away and the sky covered with a pure white and vast full moon. The man who called himself the new head bore the full moon on his back and sneered at the demon. I am open to glazing George, okay? So we'll see.
Even the lives of the entire Ushiramiya family are now part of my fortune. Reparations will be made for the damage that's been done, and it won't come cheap. You didn't seriously think you could take my parents, Aunt Natsuki, Uncle Rudolph, Aunt Rosa, and Genji-san's lives and expect me to overlook it, right?
Impertinence. No, go back!
Renavel was trying to press his palm against Jessica's chest and stop her heart, but right before he could, his hand stopped. On the carpet at their feet, 1, 2 small red flowers bloom with a plop, plop. The seed of those flowers was way up high, piercing into the heavens on Jessica's fist.
I just did one of my trademarked squeals, but my voice didn't allow the sound to come out. But I squealed right now, very hard. That's my girl, Jessica right there. Oh, I love her. I'm so happy. That's my stubborn lady, yes. Ronova's nose was stained red with spewing blood, and those drops have been dripping onto the carpet. By the way, that just now was my answer as a maiden. My answer as a successor was different. Allow me to ask. The person I love, my family, and my relatives, everyone! I'll protect them. If I am the head, then that's my duty. Dad wasn't just swaggering around. He protected me and Mom. He fought the pressure of succeeding the Ushirima family for decades. That's why I know being the successor is nothing trivial. So you know what? I can't give up. Betting my life. I can't give it up. Betting my own life is something I can do easily. Jessica knew. She knew that in order to protect her family, her father had bluffed and fought alone continuously. Jessica understood something that his back had been telling her. Another left straight was buried into Ronova's face.
That terrifying strike wasn't due just to the brass knuckle she was using. It was a strike of a person, a family head who could throw away everything in order to protect. If that's Loss's qualifications to be the successor, then I, the next in line, will succeed the headship! Head of the Ushirimiya family... head of the Ushirimiya family, Ushirimiya Jessica! I am not the kind of coward who will let you do whatever you like anymore. A wonderful answer. I shall change your score from earlier. +10 for that answer. +2. +10 for that splendid left straight. Which means that +20 more would make for a perfect 10, right? As Ronove jumped backwards, somersaulting in midair, he violently wiped away the blood pouring from his nose. Ruby! Ruby! Panels! Comic panels! Immediately! It had become not blood, but petals of a red rose. The blood on his face was wiped off, and in its place was a grin filled with a delight he hadn't felt in so many centuries that he couldn't remember. I, Ronove, will test to see whether your resolve is worth full marks. Understand? Shut up! Shut up! Come at me! Come into the abyss. What? That's fair, Ruby, that's fair. Suddenly beneath George's feet, a pitch-black pitfall opened its mouth wide. Of course, George had no way of resisting. After being swallowed up by that, George fell out of a pitch-black hole that had opened up in the ceiling of the arbor. As George fell down, he was hit by a reverse roundabout kick from a sharp stiletto heel, like a strike from a carefully aimed bee. Wow. Okay, guys. The instant George, after being blown to the arbor, thought that he'd be swallowed up by the rose bush. Another pitch-black hole opened there and swallowed George up. And this time, a pitch-black hole opened at Gap's feet before her eyes, spitting the defenseless George out of it. At that time, Gap had already finished the preparatory motions for the next reverse roundhouse kick.
What is this?
Welcome back! Come on, lock in. Right side of the head, below the right armpit, side of the right knee. As Gap danced and spun like a small cyclone, she kept hitting him, left foot, right foot, right foot, with successive roundhouse kicks. The fourth one became a sweep, cutting George's feet out from under him and making him fall down. But of course, there was no floor there, but a pitch-black hole, and George was swallowed up once again. Gap once again spun around like a small cyclone. George was once again spat out from the ceiling of the arbor. Take this and reflect. The abyss ends with a single strike. Die! The sharp strike with the queen bee pierced the heavens like a rising cyclone. It kicked through George's lower chest as he fell from the ceiling. And then, time froze. George was pinned in midair by Gap's raised leg. Still pinned in midair, George moaned. Then Gap, with George still hung up on her foot, grinned. I'll admit it. At least your attitude is that of an adult. But that's no good unless you have power to go along with it. Did you know? They say you need 3 kinds of power to rule this world. The first one is influence. The second is wealth. Do you know what is the last one? I read it in a book. Force, right? Correct. And that's where you're lacking. Gap finally released George. She kicked upwards one more time, changing into another roundhouse kick and knocking him into a pillar. No one will fear a monarch without influence, without wealth, or without force. Kinso possessed all 3 of those. That's why he reigned as a tyrant. If you're going to call yourself Kinso's successor, try showing me a bit of that majesty, okay? Come on, how long are you gonna sleep there? Stand up, okay? If you don't, you'll fall again, see?
Oh,
Not bad movements, but I feel they are slightly unfitting for a lady. Bastard! Swaying around all over the place! Are you gonna strike back? Don't take me lightly, you fucking bastard! Runovet dodged skillfully, jumped back and avoided Jessica's fist. But he still didn't strike back himself. Because of this dodge, that was as rapid as a fluttering flag blown by a strong wind, Jessica's fist wasn't even able to touch him. Wow, this song! Amidst the sensation that her own blood was boiling, Jessica regained her offensive composure. Even though this room was large for a bedroom, it was a very cramped place to keep up such exaggerated dodges for so long. She calmly realized that and started using not just her fists but her legs as well. Oh, boxing with just your arms makes you but half a fighter. Your arms must be like the hot roar of a lion, and your legs must be like the cold snake closing in on its prey. Snakes don't have legs! True. Jessica began cornering Runovet towards the wall with perfect footwork. She didn't let him get around her. Runovet's magnificent dodges looked flashy, but they needed a large footing. Once cornered, he wouldn't be able to dodge anymore. Jessica knew the characteristics of her weapon, the brass knuckle, very well. This powerful weapon's most notable characteristic was how it didn't give the opponent a chance to defend. Even if they blocked with her arm, the arm would receive direct damage. If it did hit the wrong way, it might even break the bone. So she cornered him. With this fist, she'd whittle away at this demon who'd lost any way to escape. Whoops. Oh, when did... Looks like I finally cornered you, right? Where is everyone being held? Where's that damn geezer? You tell me everything and I'll let you off with nothing more than a plucking that mustache off, okay? That would be a problem. It doesn't take me an hour every morning to set this. Once you're in a cast, you won't even be able to do that right. Whoops. Runovet had blocked Jessica's fist with his arm. He tried to act as though it was no big deal, but it must have hurt a lot. Jessica grinned. Runovet smiled the same way, but twitched slightly. Oh, I see. This certainly does hurt. Here's my last bit of advice. Cry and apologize. That I cannot do. It would ruin my image. Then just crumble. Rapid fire! Jessica's fists were buried into Runovet, but there was a resistance that seemed too hard and the sound of breaking glass which startled Jessica. What? At a glance, it looked like Runovet had caught Jessica's fist with his palm. That wasn't quite true. When Runovet opened his hand, a faint purple glowing barrier like a glass shield appeared, stopping the attack by a hair's breadth. Putting herself together, Jessica let her fist fly again, but with a truly magnificent gesture, Runovet caught all of them. I am, after all, one hell of a butler. This level of magic is nothing. Even so, you aren't bad at all. If I were a human, I would probably resign right here. Because I am a demon, I can still continue to fight. What are you trying to pull? Is this the end? Are you simply going to attack all the time while neglecting your defense? Huh? Runovet's palm shot to within a hair's breadth of Jessica's stomach. Jessica was knocked away by the purple shield, rolled backwards, and smashed her head on the bed. My shield cannot be broken by a mere human. Don't think that you'll ever be able to touch my body again. In that case, I'll just burst through that shield! Persistence, I see. Yes, a truly fitting spirit for the successor. Perhaps I'll be your opponent for just a while longer. This is also part of the examiner's role. Break! Gap looked down and George is sneering. George was on a path in the rose garden lying face down in a puddle. The merciless rain beat down on him so that it looked as though even the heavens were mocking him. Stand up, okay? You'll fall again, right? George stood up shakily. It seemed the spirit hadn't given in, but the damage done to his body was fairly significant. Beg for your life. What you're doing right now is the same as the fourth option of choosing nothing. You chose the third option, right? If you get down on your hands and knees and apologize, I'll forgive your rudeness towards me. Then I'll guide you down to the dungeon. There, for your beloved Shannon and your own powerless life, you will kill the other hostages one by one. You can do it, right? You did boast about having that resolve. George didn't answer, but his gaze was still obstinately resisting his surrender. If you are too obstinate, then this time you really will fall into the deepest depths of the abyss, right? Okay. Gap's strength was evident. That was probably clear, even more than it was to George himself. To Shannon's group watching through the three-sided mirror. Oh no, this voice is gonna be hard.
George-sama, that's not for someone like me.
Nessan?
If you didn't fall in love with me, you wouldn't have to fight with anyone, right, George-sama? Then please, abandon me. Please forgive me. Forget me.
There was no way that voice could have reached George. I agree. But even so, George answered. No way. I won't surrender. Oh, why not? Because that's my resolve. I'll fight everything for Shannon's sake, and I'll make everything accept us. And bless us. Hey, could you tell me something? Why are you willing to go so far for that few furniture called Shannon? She's just a washout, isn't she? Rubbish furniture that couldn't even make a satisfactory waitress. I won't permit any more insults against the woman I love. Then what are you going to do about it? How could a weak kid like you resist me? Loving someone is strength, because I learned that I was able to become strong. Shannon, I love you. With just those words, I could stand back up over and over again. Shannon's in the dungeon, right? Professing your love to me won't. No. She heard. That's because it's love. Shannon can hear my words right now. The reason I can believe that is because of love. You... Shannon, you aren't furniture. Even if you are furniture, you're mine alone. The only one for me in the world. I want you to be close to me for as long as I live. I need you for all eternity.
George-sama.
I'm jealous. He surpassed my husband in smooth talking. Oh gosh, not this voice. That's youth for you. The strength of love. Then why are you so weak, boy? Does that weakness mean your love is also that weak? Even your love for your fiancé is weak. The way your parents died so quickly was weak. Everything about your life is weak. Shannon taught me about love and strength. If you're trying to measure my love towards Shannon by my strength alone, let me teach you about my love. So you say. I get it now. You're saying that the way you can still stand up after being kicked down so many times is the strength you received from Shannon. In that case, what did you receive from your parents who got killed way too easily? At that time, there was a blackout, even though they were outside. Lock in? No. This is... Ah! The thing blocking Gap's vision was the bottom of George's shoe! Victim propitiatoria? Whoa! The song? Sidekick. Nasal bone fracture. It had stopped right in front of the tip of Gap's nose. The thing I got from Mom was this kick. Several moments after Gap jumped back, of course that was too late. If George hadn't stopped, he would probably have caused the damage he'd announced.
Why did you stop?
And what I got from Dad is fortitude. Anger with a low boiling point isn't something to be truly feared. True anger is disciplined by fortitude. I recognize your violent method of declaring your intentions. I also see that you slandered my fiancé and my parents' honor. And you have no intention of taking back what you said, yes?
Let's see if I'm still audible. I turned it up.
You! I now understand your attacks more than enough. So maybe it's about time to start fighting back. Quit prattling around, foolish boy. A pitch-black hole opened in its mouth at George's feet. But George rapidly opened his legs, straightening the hole. The same move won't work again. It is an extremely smooth dodge, and the upper part of his body didn't even quiver. Fortitude means calmly analyzing how your opponent will act instead of losing your cool. Why? Isn't it obvious? Can't you guess? No, I can't! It's to counter, to give back exactly what you got, to make them not want to take another pass at you. To make them cower their face in tears and snot and forget to wash it off. To make them want to rub their forehead on the ground and apologize over and over to completely, perfectly, and thoroughly beat them until they can't get up. George dashed. Pitfalls opened one after another, but George didn't step in them again. And because he was persistent, he was able to reach Gap a second time. Reverse roundhouse. Jaw fractured. It was stretched out more forcefully and beautifully than Gap's had been. Of course, when it centered directly on Gap's face, it stopped a hair's breadth away. Perhaps she couldn't rely on pitfalls at this close range. Gap kicked at George's shins as a diversion, and in the instant of weakness when he tried to deal with that, she aimed the kick at his stomach. It was a bead-like stab by her stiletto heel, but it sliced through the air where George no longer was. High axe kick, collarbone fractured. By Gap's side, George calmly announced that, his foot still raised. If that monarch's heel had swung down, a collarbone fracture would probably have been the least of her worries. This guy's stronger than me at close range. I need distance. She jumped backwards to open a large gap between them. She jumped and leapt and even flipped in midair, increasing that distance. It should have been magnificent, but for some reason, it was very similar to the movements of a small, scared animal. If she opened the distance between them, she'd be able to fight at the range that was her specialty, using a mixture of pitfalls and kicking techniques. You fool, you'll regret the pride that made you let 3 chances of defeating me slide as you fall into the depths of the abyss! Huh? Where she magnificently landed and tried to aim a pitfall, a razor-sharp wind cut Gap's bangs. Yes, it cut them! It happened twice! This time it didn't just stop a hair's breadth away, but scattered her bangs with its air pressure. Armada con martello. The fondues of the eye fracture with the first strike. Cerebral contusion with the second strike. Gap was too shocked to speak. George had closed in over all that distance in an instant, letting off a fearsomely nimble mid-air double kick. Furthermore, with the accuracy and edge of a racer, and had cut nothing more than several of her bangs. I learned the power of kicks from karate, speed from taekwondo, and freedom of range from capoeira. Mom was pretty fickle, but I've learned from studying various merits. Why don't you hit me? You aren't going to say it's because I'm a woman, right? You spoke of force of a monarch's third power. It looks like you still must understand the meaning of that force. In this situation, force doesn't mean hastily wielded violence. It refers to a deterrent, knowledge that if someone opposes the monarch, that person won't get away unharmed. A deterrent, you say? In short, this is what I meant. This was why all of George's attacks up until then had stopped a hair's breadth away. These bare misses, which were more difficult than hitting directly, had all been performed so splendidly. Also, if George had wished it, any of those would probably have crushed Gap. He had daringly not done that.
You said it yourself, right? Force is the power to control. If you can crush your opponent with force, you won't be able to control them, right? A monarch's force is something that is only shown. He does not crush. He makes others surrender and adds them to his own fortune. If you start blowing bubbles, I won't be able to make you guide me to where the hostages are. Gap had to admit it. That George understood force in its truest sense. You'll take me to where everyone is. I would advise against persisting. I won't stop short next time.
Sorry, Leah. Let me borrow your troops. This guy's too much for me alone to handle.
As a large pitch-black hole opened up in the sky, thunk, 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 3 muscular goat attendants fell out. They surrounded George. Reinforcements. Should I take this to mean that you take back all that about me being weak?
I admit it. I made light of your human power.
That's wrong. This is the strength of a man who has experienced love.
How can you say stuff like that with a straight face? Come, goats! Crush this man and turn him into meatballs! These goats are stupid, but it looks like they at least have power. I'll turn you into a corpse that even your fiancé won't be able to recognize!
You refuse to surrender and intend to continue fighting. Understood. Know that from now on, you will receive real human proportional to your own attacks. Real harm proportional to your own attacks. If you still plan on attacking me, prepare to sustain a great deal of damage.
Whoa! When George proclaimed that, a faint red magic circle rose up around him. It seemed that George couldn't see it, however Gap being a demon could. Magic! Why does this guy have a defensive barrier? And that's also a counter-attacking type! Is this what you meant by a deterrent?
From the demon's perspective, that may have been magic, but in George's eyes, it was determination! It was a determination filled with certainty, which would be merciless to anyone who wished to fight anymore, and which would force them to prepare for a significant counterattack. Determination with certainty becomes magic.
Say that again? Tobias?
Ronove had been accurately blocking Jessica's fist with his shield, but something felt odd. Even though he was certainly catching them on the shield, he felt his arm get jarred and it hurt. It should have prevented all physical damage. However, the damage from her fist was gradually being transmitted to his arm, piling up. Ronove tried to act like he was composed so that this wouldn't be noticed.
I'm not gonna get worn out. What's wrong, old guy? Starting to get a little tough?
No matter how much you attack, it is useless. Why can you understand that? You cannot break my shield.
I'm not gonna stop hitting you just because it won't break. No matter how hard someone's heart is, if you keep on talking to them little by little, it'll eventually start to crack. I believe it. I believe that useless effort doesn't exist in this world. That's why I can live to the fullest! If words will eventually make it through, then the same goes for fists! Give up isn't written anywhere in my dictionary!
Those words were probably aimed at Kanon. Kanon, who had seemed to reject Jessica's words, but Jessica knew that no matter how stubborn her heart was, those words would eventually soak through. She believed that they would surely reach his heart, that the day would come when he would stop calling himself furniture and disparaging himself, and that he stepped out into a new life. So Jessica didn't give up. She didn't lose heart.
It's stupid, right? How bet a guy could understand, right? A girl in love doesn't even think about giving up just because it's useless.
At that time, Ronove certainly saw. He saw the reddish glow of light that encircled Jessica's fists. This is not good. An enchantment, is it? This per-meeting upgrade will be troublesome. Inside her unrelenting fist and determination dwelled the power to succeed no matter what. From a demon's perspective, that was magic. Determination with certainty becomes magic.
See? Nothing useless about it. Looks like my fists are making it through. Guard your arm, old guy.
It seems I will have to get a little more serious. It appears it is as you said. In this world, nothing is useless.
That's right.
If you give up because something is useless, that's when your life ends. You'll get through. You can be sure of that! I'm an idiot, so this is the only way I can live. But even so, I'm sure I'll be able to teach Kanon-kun about a new world someday. So I'm not gonna lose heart in a place like this. I'll definitely defeat you and save everyone!
Damn. Got to somehow open a hole! Ah!
Kraus was repeating his useless effort to somehow open a hole between the metal bars.
Useless. Nothing is useless. There's nothing.
The lookout ghosts have been swallowed up by those black pitfalls and disappeared. Now was this once-in-a-lifetime chance. This was their only chance to break the bars. Stop it! It's impossible, Kraus-san! There's nothing we can do with our bare hands! Let's look for a tool! Don't waste time on the impossible!
If you give up because it's useless, then it's all over. That's what my daughter said. Even if my body won't fit, as long as a small person like Shannon or Kanon can make it through.
Now that we've reached this point, action is more important than wrecking our brains. Let's work together. I'll do it too. Kanon-kun, you're a boy, aren't you? Lend a hand. Kanon-kun? Sigh! Time to ruin everything. Kurao-sama. They're right! Please stand back.
What? What are you planning?
Okay, Nesan? Just one more time, let's try struggling. Yes! How to? We'll struggle one more time. No, not just one more time. Over and over again. Jessica's voice had reached Kanon. It certainly had permeated into his cold rock-like heart. Oops. And George's voice had reached Shannon. If the love had shown was embodied by strength, she would have to respond in the same way. An incredible metal sound rang out. In the first flash, several metal bars were severed horizontally. In the next flash, they were severed horizontally again, causing many metal bars to clatter on the ground like bamboo shoots cut by a sword. Kraus, Kairi, and Nanjo didn't even have a clue what just had happened. Dr. Nanjo, which way down the corridor goes to the mansion? Of course! In and to the left! In and to the left! Let's go, Kraus-sama! Virgilia-sama wouldn't notice us at any moment now. What in the world are you guys? We are Umineko. When Kanon hung his head a little and faltered, Shannon slapped his shoulder, smiled, and spoke. We're human. And together, we are Umineko! Let's go! Virginia-sama, respond to the lookout web. It's a jailbreak. The goat guards aren't there for some reason. What? Why? It's Gap, isn't it? It's taking someone else's summonings without asking. Gap! Gap! Confirming battle regulations. Requesting permission to fire at the escapees. Do it. Kill them. Kill. Understood. 410, prepare for sniping pursuit combat. Ammo type guided cluster rounds. Virgilia-sama, an escape prevention barrier if you would. Yes, you're right. I won't let you escape from here. Then my time saying gasp. The underground passage in front of them was once again blocked by metal bars. The door was of course locked. However, this was no problem for them now.
Kanon, it's those metal bars again. We're counting on you.
Yes, Kraus-sama. Still, that's incredible. I wonder what kind of principle it works on.
I'm not interested in principles. All that matters is that we can sever the metal bars and that we can escape from here. Don't worry, Kanon. Do it!
Leave it to me. Kanon sliced the metal bars again with his red curved blade, but there was a harsh, strange noise that the metal bars had only had a slight scratch.
Hey, Sims is right. Even if you said it in Japanese, it would still not reach your teeth. She may be stupid. But what's this? These are sturdy! Wrong. They're enchanted. It's one of Virgilia-sama's magic locks.
Can you cut through it?
Of course, but it will take time. We'll wait 3 minutes. After taking a deep breath and concentrating his mind, Kanon extended a red curved sword again. When he pressed it hard against the metal bar, sparks sprayed almost as though he was melting through it with a barrier. It looks like we'll be able to cut it, but it'll be tough.
Cloud-sama, you've been targeted by the enemy. Please move back.
Huh? Pursuers. There's no one coming.
Please get behind me. They're aiming for you. 45 data received. Target log acquired. Commencing terrain calculation. Error correction. Formulating firing curve. Supplemental control point calculations complete. Data link to 410. 410 data received. Checking hazard zone. No problems. 00 loading 48 sub rounds. Individual homing FNF. Guided cluster rounds preparations complete. 45 firing preparations concluded. Loading guided cluster rounds. 410 firing! A golden arrow that struck sparkled gold was fired, leaving a gold trail streaming behind. It drew a curve, went through the door, through the keyhole, down the stairs, through the underground path at full speed. Something's showing! You can't block the golden arrow with a shield. Kanan-kun, interception stance. Let's link.
Gatekeeper understood. It's been a long time since I fought with you, Nesan. Don't screw up.
Yeah, I'll be serious.
Then there's no problem. Kanon stopped cutting the bars and stood in front of Shannon. Behind him, Shannon closes her eyes, concentrating her mind deep into the darkness of the underground path. A guided cluster round is a special kind of arrow made up of 48 sub-rounds bound together. It explodes mid-air and divides to 48 mini-arrows. The strength of each individual one is low, but they pierce through all shields and possess a perfect rounding and killing power against personnel. And on top of that, each one of the 48 possesses autonomous guidance towards their individual targets. It's shown. It's divided.
Confirming guided cluster rounds division. 46, 7, 8, 48 sub-rounds, all rounds locked on 2. Interception control, data linked Kanon.
Kanon data received. You're incredible, Nesan. You can actually see all 48.
Concentration on interception prioritization. Trust your Nesan.
Of course. I don't even need to open my eyes.
Commencing interception. Target unarmed! It was intercepted! Yeah! Oh, 48 of them! Oh, after all, Shannon and Kanon were originally a furniture pair. They're strong when they're together.
Smile, 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 smile.
Ow. Is this gonna become a mouthful or something?
Calm down, reload, updating ammo type. Precision light speed sniper rounds. Preparing for precision sniping.
Sounds good, yeah. Impossible to intercept super high speed rounds. Impossible for a mere gatekeeper to defend against, yeah. Precision sniping, roger that. Commencing collection of precision firing use data.
What in the world was that just now? Don't worry, I don't have a clue either. All I know is that we would have died if not for those two.
Kanan-kun, thanks. Get back to the metal bars. The next shot will probably be one we can intercept.
How can we defend against such an attack?
We won't let that shoot. Kanan-kun, initiate spike particle combat countermeasure.
At those words, Kanon closed his eyes tightly and ground his teeth. With Shannon at the center of pressure and impact that only non-humans can perceive struck.
Firing system error! No good! Rebooting! It's spirit wave jamming! Inactive spirit particle safeguards! Hurry! What are you doing? Cover your ears quickly, 45! An unseen, unheard impact has struck the Chester sisters. 00 and 410 crashed down, covering their ears, but 45 didn't make it in time. As she stood bolt upright, her eyes rolled. 45 got damage. I am knees busted. The noise is also horrible for me. 45, 410, and 00. Damaged. Abandoned sniping posture. God, it came straight through the link. If we don't reboot. Raising her spear particle sensitivity for precision sniping had backfired. They had taken the full brunt of the spear particle shock wave Shannon had released, and not only 45 who had been hit directly, but also 00 and 410 who had been linked with her were taken down. Are you okay? I'll make you some more delicious black tea later, so get a hold of yourselves. My apologies, sir. Rebooting. Please wait several hundred seconds. All of the Chase sisters have fallen over. They would probably get back up eventually, but it looked like it would be hard for them to return to the battle lines for a while. Some furniture was able to repel weapons, if only for a moment. I see. A plot to entertain that child truly will be filled with unexpected turns. Virginia toward the air with a large gesture motioning as though opening the door. Come, arise, go in attendance. It's time to work. Catch and kill the escapees. Corpses are fine, we can't just revive them anyway. I hate that my voice gave her a very squeaky voice, similar to Eva Beatriz. Best I can do. Also, I did notice the Chester fella calling her Sir. I took notice of it. I don't know if that's a typo, a joke about her being disoriented and thinking it's Kinso, or something actually relevant, but for now, I'm just gonna leave it out there. A gold-colored door opened the air, and countless giant goats with muscular bodies peeked their faces out. Come now, Harry. These are 5 escapees, and the fastest 5 of you win. There will be a wonderful prize, so give it your all, give it your all! Virgilia clapped her hands, urging them on. A prize? After facing each other at those words, the goats all rushed to the door at once, trying to get out, making the exit as packed as the Tosai or the Yamanote railroad lines in the morning. Each wanted to get out first, so none of them could get out. Virginia held her head in frustration. By that time, Canon had managed to cut through the bar, enough bars to make a crack that could be slipped through. It had been a bit of work for Kraus, large as he was, and Nanjo with his lethal waist, but even so, they all managed to make it through. But after they did, they only had a couple seconds to be relieved. Immediately, another set of metal bars blocked the way in front of them. This certainly is secure. I bet they don't want the people in here to escape.
Canon, sorry, but I'll have to ask you again. It may be tough, but please.
There was sweat on Kanon's forehead. You could tell at a glance that cutting the metal bars, which had been made even more solid by magic, had physically exhausted him. Yes, leave it to me, Karasama.
Only you can do it. Please, we're counting on you.
Only he could do it. Holding tightly onto those words, Kanon concentrated his mind once again and set himself to the task of cutting metal bars again. Enemies are coming from behind, multiple targets. Yeah, this time even we can tell. The ground's really shaking. I can tell that some ridiculous monsters are rushing at us. Don't worry. I used a magic lock to make a blockade of the metal bars we just came through. More goats won't be able to break it. Chanel held her head out towards the metal bars they had gone through. But she stopped right away. What is it? Virgilia-sama has started neutralizing the spear wave jamming. It'll be bad if it's broken, and we'll lose the initiative once the Chase sisters are rebooted. I'll make you pay in full for bullying these cute bunnies. If you're trying to get an advantage with those clever spirit particles of yours, I'll tear all that away and rob you of them. Nessan, concentrate on the spirit wave jamming. The gap in those metal bars is too narrow for those goats. It should hold them back for a while.
I don't have a clue what you're saying, but...
We know it's something pretty bad.
Kairi picked up on a metal bar that Kanon had just cut. Kraus had no weapon, but he rubbed his fist and the two of them glared into the depths of the underground passage where the shaking was coming from. I believe these are the final metal bars blocking the way.
How far is it the mansion from here?
Quite a walk. The path is even, but I seem to remember walking for 30 minutes. So if we run all out, it'll be half that time. They couldn't tell for sure since they didn't have the three-sided mirror, but there was no guarantee that George and Jessica would still be alright against the demon opponents after all this time. If we run at twice the speed of walking, it'll be 15 minutes, and twice the speed will be 8 minutes. Excuse me. Had a bad burp.
If we sprint all the way out at double that speed, it won't even take 5. No problem.
What an unreasonable calculation! But that's how you calculated a fire! My sincere apologies, everyone. Please watch my back.
Leave it to us. Kanon, you cut the bars as fast as you can. Shannon, you concentrate on jamming this witch called Virgilia or whatever. Kairi-san and I will defend against our pursuers.
Then the roars of the beast rang out from the darkness and several fiery, glowing, bright red eyes appeared. Goats that were several levels more massive than the guards were rushing with an incredible force. The tremors they created were almost like an earthquake. They brought a frightening intensity and terror, but Kairi actually laughed with relief. Those massive bodies wouldn't be able to get through the crack in the bars. The groups of goats crashed into the metal bars with a fierce sound like that of a train colliding with a dead end. Clumps of dirt fell here and there from the ceiling, and you could tell the metal bars had bent as if collapsing. Their charging power was on par with the train. If the metal bars hadn't been there, they would likely have overwhelmed the 5 of them and crushed them in an instant. The group of goats pressing against the metal bars noticed the 5 people right in front of them. They let out a terrible howl, trying to intimidate the 5. Or maybe that was of pain from the game of push and shove. One calm goat among them figured out what should be done about the metal bars, then grabbed 2 of them with his massive arms and began bending as though opening the double doors. Kairi sharply jabbed her metal pole at the goat's vitals. The goat let out a roar of anguish. It probably hurt a lot, but that was all. It wasn't enough to bring it down. Kraus-san!
Ah!
Still holding the metal pole she had stuck out, Kairi relinquished the opposite tip to Kraus. Kraus ran there with all his might, jumped up and kicked down with all his weight and kicking power combined. All of that destructive power was focused on a single pole, drilling it in. Wow! Kraus has saw us. Are you okay? Please don't rob the affected area. I'll prescribe some medicine later. Take care. As the goat had taken a pile bunker to his vitals with their writhed with his teary eyes and nodded his head. What? Was that a bit, or... Because if they're really saying that Nanjo is part... Like, I know that Nanjo helped Kinso with the Kuadorian experiments, but if they're saying that Nanjo is currently part of the conspiracy on the island, then that changes so much. So many of the deaths could be faked from the other episodes, because he was the one confirming their deaths. Okay, whatever. Future problem. Keep it in mind. Looks like our link isn't that bad either. We won't lose to Shannon-chan and Kanan-kun.
Naturally, for a loving family like us. We can do it if we take them together.
We can do it if we take them together. Next, that one up on the right.
Understood. You really are a good wife. That Rudolph might have grumbled a little too much.
Oh, tell me about it later. Rudolph-san suddenly turning pale in heaven won't do you any good, okay? Ah! Back to peak. The ghost massive bodies were buried in rose bushes. Even if they're taken into account that a leg's power is 3 times that of an arm's, the strength surpassed common sense. To think that those massive bodies have been kicked in from the chin and flown through the air was too fierce. Even George seemed a little surprised.
Do you think that my kick works on the monsters too? Now there's a shock.
It's because of your counterattack style barrier. The attacking power that graces you is added to your own. Your kick has been supplemented by those monster superhuman strength.
Uh-oh. I don't really get it, but isn't that just perfect for me? No matter who attacks me, they should be prepared for a counterattack of equal measure. Non-aggressive defense. That's my policy. That's why Gap couldn't easily touch him. The counterattack style barrier had no defensive power. However, because of its countering ability, it could be useful in defense by making the opponents hesitate to attack. The goats have been foolish and so had attacked without worrying. But this second effect had worked in its full against Gap. These guys really are dual. When your power's even, it's always an advantage to have a smaller build. He lightly dodged the log-like arms. When those arms touched the barrier that protected George, they let out a strong red light. The tip of the counter-attacking foot would then gain the same sparkle, and the superhuman power of the goat added to its own. The second goat fell forward and floated in the air for a second. Then George's next roundhouse kick missed right over the falling goat's head. For an instant, the goat hoped it might get away with its life. But no! A heel was dropped onto the back of its head and it was forced to kiss the ground. Going from a high roundhouse kick into a Nerichagi is pretty basic, right? Nerichagi. Works pretty well every now and then.
This guy is a problem. Seriously, a problem.
What do you mean, demons? What do you mean, witches? The rulers of Ronkenjima are the Ushirimiya family. I'll make you physically aware of that. The only way to finish off George was, now that his body was wrapped in a counterattack style barrier, was to deny him a chance to counterattack. Nothing to do but suck him up into the abyss next, then kick and drop him. Kick and drop him. Kick and drop him. Until she kicked him to death. But George had already completely seen through the faint warning signs that told of the appearance of Gap's pitfalls. If he could jump over the next pitfall, then this time he would probably pulverize Gap's head with his whirlwind-like kick without holding back in the slightest, just as he had done to his parents. She was able to envision that scene vividly. Gap hated Kinso more than ever for calling her out to this ridiculous island. Even though Ronove held out a shield, he had finally started using his hands. Without a more powerful shield, he wouldn't be able to block Jessica's fist anymore. The enchantment on Jessica's fist grew the more she fought. The permeating upgrade had already grown several times, and those fists had also been given an impact upgrade, and piercing upgrade, and a speed upgrade, making them fists worthy to fight on par with a demon.
What's wrong? Starting to get tired? You're getting all slow!
No, your movements and thoughts and kinetic visions have been repeatedly enhanced. My movements have not changed from the beginning. Your movements are beginning to catch up to me.
And you still won't fight back?
This is my style. However, I cannot allow it to continue at this rate. It's about time for me to get serious and end this.
Ronove's face turned into an expression that he hadn't shown before. It was full of respect for Jessica in a truly demonic way, because it was an expression he only showed for enemies who made him get serious. What the? With a gesture of his whole body that you couldn't call elegant, Ronove held up a shield with all his strength, a shield the size and thickness of a wall. It was more tenacious than a simple shield. It literally was a wall, and on top of that, with all of Ronove's magical power, it pushed Jessica back bit by bit. Did he plan on pushing her back against the wall and crushing her to death? Jessica tried to break through the wall with both fists, but it was solid. Without any exaggeration, it was solid. Is this what you call serious? No problem, I'll break right through it!
I will not let you this time. This wall is somewhat different. Here, allow me to enchant it as well.
When Ronove made a magic sign almost like a ninja, the wall glowed red for just an instant and some kind of ominous power dwelt within it. Jessica was able to recognize that almost immediately with her body. Every time her fist hit the wall, pain as though glass fragments had scattered and hit all over her body rebound against her.
I upgraded it with attack reactive armor, an exceptional item that will decrease the force of your attacks by counterbalancing them, and which can even counterattack with reactive fragments. It's perfectly fine to keep punching it, but doing so would damage you as well.
In short, it's an endurance test between me and the wall. No problem.
Will you fall to your knees first and be pushed into the wall first? Allow me to observe.
Except I might break through it and smash the whole wall along with your face, right? Watch it!
Without hesitation, Jessica punched with both fists. Each time she did, a large amount of shards scattered torturing her entire body. Instantly, several red gashes appeared all over her. She grimaced at the intense agony, but her eyes were burning with fighting spirits, and her lips curved in a grin that stood in sharp contrast to the pain. Come on, are you done yet? We're fine. But the metal bars blocking them won't seem to be. Just a little more. There's no stopping these guys. These metal bars might break just from them shoving each other. The group of goats made the metal bars crack. Several arms grabbed the bars, twisting them with superhuman strength. However, some bars were being pulled in opposite directions by different hands. Apparently, they really were stupid. The way those countless hands grabbed the metal bars sometimes happened to match up by chance. Several hands grasping two metal bars neatly put their power together and pulled the bars to the left and right. The incredible sound of metal bending could be heard, and the crack was getting larger bit by bit. They attacked the arms of those goats one by one, but they weren't getting anywhere. They couldn't stop the gap from spreading left and right. At that time, there was a loud metal sound behind them. Kanon had finally finished cutting. Quickly! Kari-san, ladies first. You go next, Dr. Nanjo. Karasu-sama, please leave this place to me. This is... Kanon's red sword that had cut the metal bars disappeared.
Sorry. We entered with Yulia-sama's spirit particle area of influence. Our magic power has been neutralized.
Purgatory Catastrophe Rhapsody?
How dare you resist me this far? I, who was called a great witch. You can no longer use your magic in that underground passage.
A magic circle column drew a complex magical formula with Virgilia at the center. With such genuine magic being used, Shannon's power couldn't even compete. On the contrary, it was surprising that she had withstood as long as she did.
Spirit particle supremacy ensured. Come, Tracy sisters, it's your turn now, right? Wait, are you still rebooting? Why are the kids these days so bad at waking up?
My apologies, we're all different versions. Why is it that the shortcuts and pull-downs menus get all screwed up every time you change versions? Did not shut down successfully last time. Administrator privileges. What's going on? I don't know. Fix me quickly. Call the Imperial Guard's troubleshooting team.
What? You can't help us without a user code. 45 had a user code, nye.
All I can hear is 99999. Have her write it down on some paper.
She can't reinstall her IME, so she can't write characters yet. Oh, you take your time fixing yourselves. I'm going. Sorry.
The narrow underground passage was packed with goats, truly like a commuter train in the morning. Virgilia was again shocked by the congestion.
What are you doing? Huh? You want to go first because you want the prize. You're getting in each other's way because you don't want the other goats to steal the prize from you. You stupid goats! I'm going to make way. What? You don't want to? Virgilia-sama is trying to steal your prize. Why are you all standing arm in arm? Tight cramped! When did this become a goat's only car? You, that kid who just touched my butt, get off at the next station! What's wrong with you? Come this way, you say?
The five in Krause's group dashed through the passageway with all their strength. They couldn't dawdle around in an underground place like this. They had to quickly join up with the children on the surface. If they could meet up, there would no longer be any more sorrow. At that time, a terrible tremble started chasing them. Had their pursuers finally made it through the metal bars? but they couldn't see anyone when they turned around. However, that rumble in the dirt that fell here and there from the ceiling grew closer and closer, finally catching up with them and even going past them. It almost felt like being chased by ghosts. For a second, they thought they'd gotten away when the ceiling in front of them fell in and a single goat stood in their path. Virgilia was sitting on his shoulder.
This was wise, child, and you're a shortcut. What a good kid. You get first prize. Later, you can have some handmade mackerel curry.
And that's the way she talked to the mini Beatrices in Kuadoria, giving them prizes and such. Treats and whatnot. Mivia really was happy about that dubious prize. The massive goat showed its joy by putting its hands together and writhing. Virgilia leapt down, laughing that this time was finally checkmate. Damn, it's no use. Our magic has been completely killed.
Not yet. Even with that magic, we still have these bodies.
Don't be ridiculous. There's no way you can fight a monster like that without any strange power.
Stay back, children. I'll do something about this, so escape past the sides of that monster while I distract them.
I won't let you.
When Virgilia clapped her hands, a magic purple circle wall appeared behind her, stealing even the faint hope that Kraus had been betting on.
Is there nothing to be done? No, not yet. Even Jessica fought. I must do so as well.
Are you serious? It's not possible, not against that massive monster. Don't be absurd! Kraus said, let us think of another way.
If you think of something, say it. Until then, it looks like I'll have to manage something. Come on, get back.
Take care.
My, Kraus. You intend to fight this child alone?
You never know. In a fight, it's always possible to get in a lucky shot.
You think you can win even with a fluke? Allow me to explain so that even one who's so blissfully unaware of this place can understand.
Log in? Okay. Okay.
What?
If you were to wield 100% of your strength, your power level is at most 6. In comparison, this child has a power level of 1,000. In short, even if there were 100 of you, you definitely couldn't win. Well, it's true that there are uncertain elements in a fight. Let us admit that your power level has a slight scaling factor to it. But even so, your chances of defeating this child are at perhaps 0.00001%. Do you understand? You don't even have a 1 in a 10,000 chance of victory.
Virgilia and the goat guffawed together.
Damn it. If I've caught in a 1 in a 10,000 chance, that means the payoff will be 10,000 times greater, right? Invest in crypto! A splendid dark horse. Seeing a chicken like that makes me want to buy it right away.
But the coin to buy it is your life, and you've only one of those, yes? However, I can understand why you still want to entrust the miracle to fate. Therefore, I shall praise your courage for standing against us without fear and give you a bit of handicap.
Crap. What's going on here? The only thing... Shut up. The only thing I can guess right now is how many lies she's telling when she talks. But it's probably not that if they're about to explain it, and also why would they keep track of that? Because like, you don't only have one life because they can revive them, so that's a lie. But let's continue, let's continue.
This child will fight with only his left arm. Well, even so, I have absolutely no intention of losing to you.
So he won't only fight with his left arm, and she has intention of losing to him?
Come to think of it, what's that boing 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 bongs noise I keep hearing?
Okay, they're explaining it now. Very well. I'll take that challenge. Whether he uses his left arm or not, I'm sure I'd be killed with a single strike. I also only have a single chance at a strike. I can only bet everything on that. That's absurd, Kraus-san. I know you used to do boxing, but wasn't that as far back as your college days? No, even if you were a pro boxer, there's no way you could defeat a monster like that with one strike.
That would be true if it were a match in the ring. But what Krasny-san's chance is to bet on the hope his fate it does exist. He's betting everything on that hope.
You aren't sane. But there's no way that would ever work.
Kraus-sama!
Watch me. I'll settle this with a single strike.
How shallow. I know what you're after. The distance between the two of them is more than 10 meters. If the goats and Kraus both step in with all their strength to settle the fight with a single blow, their power will double what is normal. Both will crush together, so it is a relative 4 times normal. Even so, on top of that, the strike lands on a weak point for a critical hit that will only double the power again. In short, Kraus's maximum power level of 6 times 8 would be 48 at most. He might or might not be able to win if he repeated that lucky shot a full 20 times. If you're killed every time you take a hit and your damage still accumulates. Let's see, perhaps you might finally win when we get to episode 24, yes? If only this series could stretch on for so long. Either way, you don't even have a slight chance at victory.
So another lie, he does have a chance of victory.
Hey, seriously, what is that bing bong sound?
Let me bet everything on a single strike.
Okay, let I think it started here, so does the bing bong play here? It does not. So I think it's saying that it doesn't have a power level of 1000. Saying that he doesn't have a slight scaling factor to it. He has a big scaling factor to it. And that his chances are higher than that. He doesn't have one life. He will not use his left arm. It's really not like... It's not like intentional lies. It's like lies of the story. So she has no intention of losing to him, but she will lose. So the story declares it as a lie. Whatever, we get it.
Let me bet everything on a single strike.
Whatever. You have no reason to hold back either, Gotkun. Come at me, seriously.
He's requesting that you go all out, smash him with a single serious strike, and turn him into chunks of meat.
As the goat got excited and beat his chest over and over, it took a position as though preparing for a sprint.
Is that what you wanted? Bet your hopes on the greatest limits of your power level and disappear when even that gets you nowhere?
So there's a lie here. Most likely that it will get him somewhere.
Hit ring again? What the heck? It really started to get on my nerves.
Here I go. Ready?
The goat howled in response. Then, with a matched timing that only the man confronting each other could comprehend, the two leapt forward like bullets shot out of a gun. The man howled, collecting the strength from all over their bodies into one arm each. The goat's fiery, glowy eyes clearly locked onto Krause's face. He could perfectly see a vision of when he would step forwards, when he would punch through Krause's and blow him away. And when he would win perfectly. Okay, come on, I have to be right. He's gonna lose, so it's a lie. If anything, I think that we're gonna see Krause lose this. But the number is telling us that that is a lie. Even though we saw him lose, in reality he did not lose. I cannot read chat right now. You are ticking me off. The long, painful days up to that point drifted through the goat's mind. Those painful days of training with his esteemed senpai had picked on him. So none of this happened. This is all imaginary. Those faint glimpses of the warm concern his senpai felt for him. And the joy of that day, his power had been acknowledged when he had been accepted as one of the comrades. None of this happened. I never showed proper respect to my parents. Because it's an orphan, it doesn't have, technically, parents. That's right, didn't I plan to wash my own hands of this business when this job was over and return to my hometown? He don't got none of that. I'm sorry, little goat sister. Your Oni-chan has always caused you so much trouble. He does not have a sister. And I actually have a childhood friend. And I'm gonna marry her when I got home. No childhood friend. No home. No marry her. No! Stop tripping all those losers' flags! You can't handle that punch! Dodge it!
It happened the instant before the two crushed and their punches crossed. That's what was happening. You fool, Virgilia. Looks like you failed to make a calm and rational decision.
You mustn't take that punch! Knock it aside!
The very intent, the goat's left straight and Krause's right straight. Cross! This goat obeyed Virgilia's order with a super fast reflexes and fought his straight back, repelling Krause's punch. That's right, Virgilia's decision probably had been wise. After all, the number of loser flags amplifies the power level of one's opponents.
That was close! If he had taken that punch after tripping so many loser flags, imagine just how great a force it would have been amplified to! Come on, from there, smash the completely open right side of his face with his right straight! What? That promise about fighting with only your left arm? Our promise is made to be broken! Shoot another one!
I'm disappointed, Virgilia. You really have lost your composure.
What's that? How was I not supposed by noticing it beforehand and making him avoid it? Why, is that Parisama? If they had crushed like that, it wouldn't have been Krause's... Oh crap!
I accidentally hit control. I see. Even with 20 loser flags, that's not enough. Krause's and the goat's double rush made it 4 times 4. With Umineko as an ally, the firm promise of a critical hit doubled it again 4 times 8. On top of that, there were an amplification of times 20 equal to the number of loser flags, making it for times 160. At a glance, that was an incredible amplification, but even so, Krause's power level was 6. Even multiplied by 160, it only made for a power level of 960. Just barely below the goat's 1000. That's why I said you were composed. It's your blunder. If they had crushed like that, you would have won.
Even if that were so, it all comes to the same thing if this right straight smashes Krause's head. Die, Shinomiya Krause!
Take this, the strongest strike of the boxing world. After repelling Krause's right straight, the goat's right straight attacked the right side of Krause's face, which had been left open, but there crosses Krause's left straight. The two punches crossed, and time stopped as each aimed for the face of the other.
To think that it would be time for a simultaneous strike! But his power level stops at times 160, making it 960! It doesn't reach up to my child's 1000!
No, Virgilia-san, it's your loss.
Why?
You made him repel the first cross counter. Certainly, if another right straight after that were to hit Krause-san, would probably been in pieces. However, that was crossed. That's no good. Sorry, but this is a complete loss for you and this goat. A cross counter has 4 times the destructive power of a normal punch. This is common knowledge in the boxing world, and if it's blocked and the right straight hits, then it's a double cross counter with 8 times the destructive power. This is also common knowledge in the boxing world. This is all obvious shit. And if that is crossed, then by the principle of leverage, the triple cross would multiply the destructive power by 12! That is also painfully common knowledge in the boxing world. This is JoJo dialogue. Krause-san's power level is 6. The rushing from both sides times 4.
The critical hit is times 8!
And times 160 for tripping so many looser flags. And times 12 for the triple cross counter.
The times 1,920! His power level is 11,520! Krause's punch now has the power to easily win the first Tenkaichi Budokai!
This result is brought about by Krause-san's persistence in not giving up on victory until the end, and your pride. Without either, this strength would not exist. You fought well. You may now fall. Nanjo clapped the goat on the shoulder. This is just new theory. Everything in the whole game does not happen. It's just the whole family playing Dungeons and Dragons in the family conference. That's all it is. That's all it is. Your Oni-chan gave his all. As the sparkling drops from the goat's eyes scattered, he bent backwards and fell on Virgilia.
Get off me!
The goat's massive body was too heavy for the slender Virgilia. She wriggled around with it on top of her, but it didn't look like she was able to escape. In that instant, the barrier Virgilia had sealed broke. Bro, please end already. I am so tired. Don't take it personally. It was the principle of leverage that led you to your defeat. I wonder how the principle of leverage applied to that counter. It's in an eternal mystery. Let's escape while we can. You can take her too, goat-san.
Well then, excuses Virgilia-sama.
Bow.
Wait! Wait up! Get this off me!
After that, there was nothing to block their way. They ran intently through the underground passage. Oh, I feel like I just ran. Yuzuka had finally been cornered with the wall at her back. Runova advanced with his magic circle wall bit by bit and would probably crush her against the other wall eventually. Okay. Break. I need to get more water. This might be a little bit of a long break, but we're finishing this chapter tonight. I'm alive. I'm alive. Checking my voice. Hello, hello, hello. I might be better. It's still pretty dead. It's not as dead as before. What about high pitched voice? Hello, hello. Yeah, that one's harder to do. You know what? I should ping in case anyone's not here. I watch what Sam sent me. I'll say something when he says something in chat whenever he returns. One more, bro. Lock in. Last chapter in the section, and we are back. Okay, okay. Good thing I got my water. Hi, Sam. This is just you are a creature. Thank you. That was sweet. And funny thing is that I didn't want to draw her. I wanted to draw when I was making the doc. I wanted to draw her because you know that's the best way to show what I'm thinking. But I wanted it to be done that day, not take a week on it. So I just chose the Picru instead. I also, now that I said this, still don't expect a drawing because I usually am not happy with what I draw. So even if I did try to, I probably wouldn't end up sharing it. But yes, so maybe one day when I am more skillful. Yep, we got over the climax of the chapter. No, of Umineko. Yeah, don't expect one Sam to draw it is for me. What are you on about? What deal did we make that I was not aware of? I will read now. Get out of here about this. Jessica had finally been cornered with the wall at her back. Ronova advanced with this magic circle wall bit by bit. It would probably crush her against the other wall eventually. Considering the distance she threw out her fist, this would be her final strike. Jessica had dealt out many punches so far. I figured Sam's, yeah. Oh no, thank goodness you did not go through the effort. No, I understood. I just wanted to mention that because it is funny that I too wanted to draw it. But yes, I understood it. It was sweet and you suck. You stink a lot. Anyways, this wall wasn't invincible. It had already started to crack and it wouldn't be strange for it to smash at any moment. However, due to the rebounding damage, Jessica also had cuts all over her body and was all worn out.
Please, put a stop to this. I don't intend to crush you. It is up to the master to decide how to deal with you. However, I also intend to congratulate you especially for your good fight.
Hey, quit fucking around. Not yet. It isn't over yet.
You have wounds all over your body. It's all you can manage just to stand, is it not? It seems you plan on putting all your strength into this final strike. However, that final strike will be fatal for you.
The damage reflected by Ronova's magic circle wall was proportional to the strength of the attack. Jessica's all-out punch would be bounced back onto her. The more all out she went, the more suicidal it would be for Jessica. I get it. I know that.
I am warning you. Stop this now. This is for your own good.
Stop bluffing. Your wall is already about to break, right? I can tell by the feel of it after punching it so much, okay? That was a fact. Ronova's wall was already on the verge of breaking, And on top of that, Jessica's fist had been imbued with an unimaginable magical power by now, and their destructive strength had defied the imagination. In the worst case, the destructive power might even pierce the defensive wall, smash Ronove as well, and create an expansion connecting this room to the next. However, the damage will rebound on Jessica as well. She wouldn't escape unharmed. I will say it one more time. Stop. I say this out of consideration for you. Shut the fuck up! Prepare yourself! Jessica howled. Putting all of the strength of her greatest and final destructive power into her fist, she roared. Gulp. The three goats have been beaten down long ago. Without straining to breathe in the slightest, George cautiously closed the distance between him and Gap. He was after her. He was planning on bringing her down with a single strike. Gap was also aiming for a single strike. If she let the chance slide, she would be killed this time. Or are you going to use your pitfalls? Even the tiny opening during that time it took to open the hole would prove fatal with George as an opponent right now. Gap cautiously calculated the distance and timing, and even as she did, George closed the gap between them. If you won't come, I will.
Go ahead. There's no point in cheap tricks anymore. I'll settle it. With this kick of mine!
For an instant, she thought George's body blurred, and then only his jacket was floating in the air. The moment she thought, darkness covered Gap. George, with his heels swung up high, was attacking from the sky like a massive dragon. It worked! This is my victory! Yoshinomiya George! What? Gap opened a vast pitfall with her in the center, swallowing up George along with herself. The two were swallowed up by the pitfall and spat out from the ceiling of the arbor. But that was what Gap had been after, so she alone landed lightly. However, there was another pitfall in George's landing spot. Gotcha, Yoshinomiya George! It was fun, so die. The Ushinomiya family headship would be wasted on the likes of you, so I'll finish you right here, right now. George once again fell from the ceiling of the arbor. She had probably been dropped the same distance as falling off the roof of the two-story building. In the sky, he couldn't control his posture in any way. It was impossible to resist or defend or avoid. As Gap spun like a whirlwind, she concentrated all of her energy on the sharp tip of her stiletto heel. This was the final strike to perform his requiem. The final strike of the Queen Bee that would bore into heaven, knocking him down into the true abyss. Welcome to the abyss. This is the end of the line for you. She closed in on her prey and stuck her foot into the sky. At that time, she saw George's face. Even though he was in midair, he was calmly adjusting his glasses with the middle finger of his right hand. And his posture was still preserved as that of an axe kick. Without the faintest deviation, he aimed for Gap's forehead. I had already hypothesized that this move would come up. What? If I jumped to make the person that was on the ground taste my heel, my posture would have collapsed long ago. However, my posture hasn't collapsed in the slightest. Do you know why? You don't mean... From the very beginning, I aimed to make a person 2 stories below taste my heel! It's your loss, miss! Bing bong! What? Take this! Jessica's last and strongest upward punch reached the wall and was sucked in. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'll see you all next time. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm good. I think I'll pass on this one, you know? I'll pick up Higurashi or something. I think I'm good for now. That's all. Hi, Phoenix, by the way. Oh. $21. Okay. So, if I see George kill Jessica, I'm not gonna be good. It was sucked into a black large hole that had suddenly opened on the wall. Well, I did tell you to stop. Jessica chose to kill herself, George chose to kill everyone else, so they fulfilled each other's decisions. This is... Actually, I wasn't even close to being in a pinch. Sorry. Jessica's fist had gone for George's stomach, and George's axe kick had lined up on Jessica's head. The shocking destructive power imbued in Jessica's fist crushed George's organs and scattered his abdomen. The same destructive power in George's axe kick smashed half of Jessica's head and scattered its contents in the same manner. Didn't I tell you about a witch's acting powers? Don't mind my cat making a mess. Hey, Beto, what do you think? Were you watching? Not bad! Just as planned! You really do get it, Gap! Woohoo! Beto and Gap casually high-fived each other. Thanks, Ronovan. Thanks for the gift. I'll return Jessica's corpse. Separate the corpses of the two who are close. Does that mean the second twilight is over? Ow! The cat is clawing me. Gab dropped Jessica's corpse through the pitfall, and all the chunks were thrown into Jessica's room. As carelessly as throwing something into the trash. Jessica's corpse and lumps of flesh fell from the ceiling and poured out all over her room. Donovan shook his head slightly at this gruesome change of scenery. My apologies, Jessica-sama. I did warn you. However, the true art of us demons, that is, foreseeing this conclusion and giving you advice I knew you wouldn't have listened to, really isn't something a human could understand. It really was fun, kid. But you play with words a bit too much. Maybe it's about time I start fighting back really the best you got. Are you trying to be someone from a light novel or something? In the audible brutally decorated by George's and Jessica's scattered blood and guts, Gap enjoyed a loud laugh for a while. But she quickly realized, in all seriousness, this was a little too filthy and undignified, and she snapped her fingers. Yeah, Yuffie was trying to distract me. As she did, a cloud of goat butterflies rose up around her, stuck to each of the bits and blood stains and dropped them. Then George's corpses returned bit by bit, and the brutal corpse with its guts torn out was repaired into a clean corpse that looked like it was sleeping. Was this some sort of sportsmanship towards a dead rival? The heavens were split, because Gap had lifted her leg high, pointing at the sky. See you, lover boy. This is game over. For real. That was also a Homestuck reference. Splat. Without a trace of mercy, that foot stepped down and was buried into George's forehead. The stiletto heel that was sharp as a weapon pierced George's forehead. Back-to-back cream streams, how does it do it? Never mind, ruin, Homestuck mention. And my cat is making an even bigger mess now. Even she's mad. Was last stream good? I don't remember last stream being... What happened last stream? Wait. I remember now. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. This little heel that was sharp as a weapon pierced George's forehead. With a bloop, it was pulled out. It was like a mark proving that Gap certainly had finished him on her own hand. I need to, hopefully, if I'm not busy like always, by the end of tonight I need to reorganize the streams again. I haven't done enough of it. Runaway also returned Jessica's corpse to its original form. And unlike how it had been with George, she restored Jessica's life. What in the world is this? A dream? No, that is wrong. You certainly did pass away, Jessica-sama. You should be well aware of the memory of your final moments. Jessica's mind was burning. For some reason, she remembered being thrown somewhere and having George's heel smash her head. Am I alive? No, you are dead. With my magic, that will only be postponed for a scant 3 minutes. The magic will end, and you will return to being a tragic corpse with half of its head crushed. What did you say? Death is brutal. In most cases, you aren't even given the time to ready your heart. But to praise you for fighting so bravely, I decided to give you this time. Perhaps you should sort out your regrets from this world in those 3 minutes. I can also decide to take you along with me during those 3 minutes. But the power that had burned through Jessica's body until a second ago had been completely lost. Jessica was aware of that herself. She was already dead. And that is all for me. If you would excuse me. It was fun, Jessica-sama. Runoda turned his form into a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. All that remained was the sound of the wind and rain and the figure of Jessica as she crouched down, leaning against the wall. Quick! Use your blood to spell out Leon in the wall before you die. Jessica could tell. She probably really would revert to the corpse she had been after 3 minutes. Was there anything she could do in those 3 minutes? She stood up and with a shaky gait took the phone that was on the desk. Hello? Is that Jessica? Jessica! What is it? Are you okay? They got me. Are you okay? Did you get injured? I'll come to save you right now! No, it's already too late. I'm already dead, or so I hear. By the time you get here, Butler, I'd be a corpse with half its head split open. Crap! That damn geezer! Wait there, I'm coming for you! Listen to me, Butler. Listen closely, okay? Now I totally see why Goda-san and Komosawa-san were evasive about the time the six in the dining hall got killed. Those guys aren't human. What? What are you talking about? What do you want me to say, man? I freaking saw it, okay? Those guys, they set up barriers. All of that crap, you know? It's like some manga, some anime. Seriously, we can't deal with that. From the very beginning, fighting was useless. They really aren't opponents that you'll be able to fight with that hat stand spear you're so proud of. A line of blood dripped down from Jessica's forehead. Judge Nissan's done it for two. That was an instant death. The next test is yours, Butler. I wonder if your test would go the same way as ours. Dude, Cat, don't jump. You're on top of the computer. If you jump right now, you're gonna come crashing down to the computer. Stay away. Brother. Computer's fine at least. I wonder if your tests will go the same way as ours. Be careful. And don't misunderstand. You mean about the test? No. Don't misunderstand. And assume that your enemy's human. The enemy isn't human. They're demons that can freely wield a terrific magic. No matter what, don't get the wrong idea about that. Be careful. A line of blood dripped down from Jessica's mouth as well. The left half of her head started hurting. Jessica realized that she was about to return to the corpse she had been. When 13 people died, the Golden Witch will revive. 6 were killed, including Mom. It's the first Twilight. Then George, Nissan, and I were killed for the second Twilight. So once 5 more people are killed, the ceremony will be complete, and the witch will revive. I hope Dad and the rest are safe. If they aren't, the one to test you might be the resurrected Beatrice herself. Butler Oria already didn't understand what Jessica was saying, but from her tone, he realized that she knew she was about to die. So even though he didn't understand the situation, he urged her to give it her all. I said I'm already dead. So yeah, it looks like it's time. Good luck on your test. I hope you can become the head. Jessica? Jessica! Hey! Answer me! Jessica! Butler's sorrowful voice could be heard from the dangling receiver. As she leaned against the wall in that corner, crouched down, Jessica's head had been half smashed. Is that all she's good for? Dying, but dying in a cool way? Like in the Tea Party where she couldn't deny the witch herself, but she asked for Butler to deny her. This chapter really has reminded me why Jessica was in my top 5 characters. Surely there's a chapter soon that will remind me why I like Natsuki, right? Surely. He only likes the bum characters, but I know. I don't like Eva, and that sucks. At least I like Rosa. Surely. Okay, I'm gonna need to tone down the voice acting skills in this case. I'm scared to I'm sorry, but thank you. Thank you. Okay. Alright, anyways, continuing. Whatever. Release me! I'm so tired. These places.
Is this a well? Where is this?
Patty struck her face out of the wall and out of the well, and then Kraus showed himself too. When he realized that they could see the back of the mansion from beyond a grove of trees, Kraus knew more or less where they were. Well? Like a water well? Or what, I don't get it. I don't care. Ruby is though. I lost my voice earlier in the stream. My voice sounds good, but you can probably still hear that it's a bit raspy. I lost my voice earlier in the stream, and Ruby did not let me end the stream, even though I really wanted to. It's terrible what he does. To think that here in a certain well there had been a hidden underground passage. Oh, they came out. Okay, so it was a water well, which led to a hidden mansion.
This really is tough on this old body. I usually came up from a different spot with real stairs.
I don't know why. Imagining him coming out of the well was funny. I can neither confirm nor deny. He chose to finish the section in a single sitting. It is good. I got to peek.
If you just unlock it, I will ask you to tell me more about the layout of this place in detail later, Dr. Nanji. Sharon, are you okay? Grab hold.
I'm fine. Kanan, quickly.
Kanan climbed up a ladder out of the shaft that was disguised as a well. It was probably quite deep. When he looked down for the first time, he realized how far he'd come up. Release me! Release me! Me firing. Bang! As Kanon was about to finally crawl out of the well, hold the sides of a basketball open up in his chest. I hope you do, Ruby. I hope you do. Everyone there looked through the hole in Kanon's chest on the scenery beyond.
Kanan!
Kanon slumped backwards and was swallowed off into the depths of the well.
Everyone, run! The Chaser Sisters! They're locked on! We can't avoid them! Run! Let at least one of us remain alive!
I assume it's saying right now that all 3 got shot, but I am hoping that Kraus is one of the ones that remain alive. He was getting this moment and I want him to grow more. At that time, Kraus and Kairi and Anjo certainly saw a golden curved line appear from the well, and sow itself to the size of Shannon's head. Thank you, Phoenix, for telling me how that's pronounced.
Shannon!
Her head had been pierced. The 3 had witnessed it perfectly until it had shot out the opposite side, blowing it away. Shannon fell to her knees, blood gushing from both sides of her head, and flopped to the ground. They're after us! Run! We'll be killed! Run! As Nanjo doubled over in shock, stunned by how Shannon had died, the Chester sisters did not allow him to escape. A curved line again appeared from the well and pierced from Nanjo's forehead to the back of his head in an instant, sewing through him. Thump. And so Nanjo passed away. Very unceremonious. He's gone.
What the? Why? Where's the enemy coming from?
We're being sniped. I don't know where from, but they're holding in on us perfectly. Let's escape into the mansion. Block their field of vision. The two dashed towards the back door of the mansion. Then, right as Kras was about to shut the door behind him. No! A golden curved line appeared for the fourth time, piercing Kras from the back of his head to his forehead and smashing that forehead. Sigh. Kras's body leaned over, fell down, and drew a neat radial pattern with the insides of his head. Does she normally act like that? I feel like she's acting out of character. Like she was in death's doorstep during the fight with Rudolph in the previous episode, and she wasn't acting like this. But maybe this, like she thought she had the upper hand that time, and this time she's really cornered. Heidi ran wildly through the hallway, flew into some room and locked the door. But even so, she wasn't even remotely convinced that this had saved her life. She would probably die soon. It was apparently one of the guest rooms, and at that moment, Kaidi's eyes fell on the phone on the side table. After hanging up the call from Jessica, but I've been about to dash out, brother. I just heard my cousin die. Time to hear my stepmother die. In an instant, the phone rang again. Hello? Huh? Kairi-san? Yes, Butler-kun. I got lucky. I managed to escape the dungeon somehow. I really did have luck on my side. Where are you? Is everyone okay? Over here, it looks like Jessica and George-aniki are... Listen, I probably won't be alive for too long. At that time, right after she thought the keyhole of the locked door might have glowed gold, a gold curved line drawing a helix, no, a golden sewing thread penetrated in from there in an incredible speed and bored a hole into the floor at Kairi's feet. Oh, that's unusual. The enemy who sniped the other four one after another with extraordinary skill apparently really did have trouble shooting me between the eyes with a single shot while I am holed up in this room. But the next strike will probably hit. At this point, Kairi finally remembered the first massive killing in the dining hall. That's right. This is what killed Rudolph and the rest, all 6 of them. Listen, Butler-kun, I'm going to tell you everything exactly as I saw it. I'm sure you'll think there's something wrong with my head. Yes, it's okay if you think that. Even I still haven't sorted out what it is I saw. Today, after you all returned to the guest house, the family conference began in the dining hall. And I'll tell you everything that happened next. Listen until the end without butting in. The call might be suddenly cut off partway through. If it does at that time, I'll be dead. Kairi-san. Then Kairi spoke about Kinso appearing in the family conference, starting about the 6 being killed and the 5 of them being confined. About how she had escaped somehow and ran away to where she was now. And how everyone had finally been killed. It was all spoken dispassionately with no dramatization, just as she had seen it. She even spoke about how everyone except her had been killed and how she had observed the moment of all of their deaths, and how even now someone was trying to kill her. Actually, even while we're talking, I've been attacked 3 times. Something like a strange gold thread keeps flying in through the keyhole, spinning around and aiming for me. First it was by my feet, next it was close to my shoulders. Just now it grazed my ear. Its aim is getting more and more accurate. It looks like it'll go through between my eyes pretty soon. Run, Kairi-san! Run away! Where to? You realize I've managed to run all the way here, shut myself into a room, and even lock the door, right? Now that I'm still being pursued, just where should I hide? Hey. Son. Hey, Butler-kun. Are Jessica-chan and George-kun still alive? Not long ago, I got a phone call from Jessica. It
kinda sounded like they were done for. Thought so. Yeah, when we were being killed one after another, I had a kind of premonition. I thought that perhaps the second twilight had been finished in the ceremony of killing 13 people before our twilights had been reached. In short, when I die, well, that's 13 people. This way, the ceremony is complete. The Golden Witch Beatrice will resurrect. I wonder what in the world will happen. On this island filled with demons and witches, and swarming with goat monsters. I wonder just what will happen. When even the leader of them all, the Golden Witch, appears. By now, I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. Kairi-san's voice had completely given up on her own life, because Butler understood that he couldn't stop the tears. There's just one thing I can advise you on. What? If a demon or a witch does appear in front of you, yeah? There's no need whatsoever to doubt whether it's real or not. Understand that it is what it seems to be. You might think that there must be some trick, or that there's some true nature hidden behind it. If you have the time to think of something like that, it'll be much more constructive to plan on how not to damage the mood of whatever you're facing. Even mistakenly, you must not say, in that case, try showing me magic. Because to prove that, they'll probably use an even crueler way than before. To show you. I can't believe it. Even if I hear something like that coming from your mouth, I can't believe it. I understand. I understand why you can't believe. So that's why I can give you this advice. Believe. You're telling me to believe in Beatrice and demons and witches and monsters? Probably. Even after being so clearly shown all those things not of this world. I think we still weren't able to believe any of it. I'm still like that now. The true form of this thing that keeps attacking me, trying to shoot through my forehead, is something I don't understand, and I can't believe it. So, I want you alone to believe, to understand, to accept the existence of what we couldn't accept. If you do that for me, our deaths won't be wasted. I also have been worth it for me to make this phone call. Kairi-san! I'm still okay. It scratched me, but it missed again. It looks like I probably won't get another chance. Thank you. And goodbye, Butler-kun. I treat you coldly sometimes because you were Asumu-san's son. Asumu-san's son. Forgive me for those days. What do you mean forgive you? Right now you are a mother to me, Kairi-san. I felt as though I heard an incredible sound at the other end of the receiver. Then a noisy clanking sound, as though the receiver had fallen to the floor. Kairi-san! Kairi-san! Kairi-san never answered to the phone again. Huh. None of the deaths have been confirmed. I made it. I made it. That was something. Wonder Silver, I need you to listen closely. These next chapters better be in a single city. No cutting, no bitching. We are in Umineko now. It starts here. Most of your manga panels too. And by it, Tomato means to steady decline to 4 out of 10 status. Now that But what do you mean by that? Like, you want me to finish the entire rest of the episode in one sitting? Because I don't think so. I'll finish one, like, clear chapter per sitting, yeah. Like, when the glass cracks or when those Umineko shows up. I apologize, but unless it's really short, I don't think I can do the rest of the episode in one sitting. Just that these 3 next year are very important. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, let's look at Rosaland. You just read like 6 of them, by the way. Just saying. Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, to me, I know there's chapters. Like, I passed through a lot of chapters, but what I call a chapter is when the glass shattering effect appears, or when, like right now, the flower borders appear and it says Umineko. That's what I count as the end of the chapter. So I can do that in one sitting. Yes. But I can't do multiple of that glass shattering or flower border endings in one sitting. Those are way too long. Yeah, 2 hours. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. Alright. Let's look at the Umineko. Let's look at the panel. Okay. Blah blah. What is this? Everything including. Okay, so why does he have an Oh, it's the one-winged eagle, I guess. Interesting panel. Why is Hawk 2 with him? Thanks, Yules. Ooh, the second picture of. You know what? I've never tried doing that. Let me see if I can do this. One sec. There we go. So stream can see as well. I've been too lazy to do that before. Okay, so yeah, this one rules. That's hard. That's awesome. I don't want to make this a thing right now, okay? But George is still a very odd character to me because as much as I love looking into things and analyzing, I must see that Ryokishi is of certain upbringings. So I'm not sure if George being a pedophile is a story analysis thing or if Ryokishi just saw nothing wrong with it. Anyways, I keep saying that I feel like, but that's it. I don't want to talk more about that right now. Later, whenever we see more of George, I want to see what the story does with it. If it does nothing with it and Ryukishi just did that, or if it does come up and it's supposed to be a parallel to Kinso being the same. But yes, later indeed. I'm saying all this because he has that groomer aura right now. Yes! Oh, I love her. When we end this whole thing. Oh, okay, so next year. Oh, this one rules so bad. Oh, I love it. I need more Jessica panels. Oh, yeah! Oh, she's so cool. Oh, Jessica, why did you peek in episode 1 and now this bit? Oh, cool. Alright. And together, we're Umineko. Was that a thing? Was that already an image you had? Or did you make it after I said it? Or did my sheep-minded self, gave in to the on the collective unconscious and also did the same joke as everyone else? I edited it. Okay. I see you send me things here. Can I check them on stream after I'm done looking at the pictures, or is that a off-stream thing? Your DMs. Anyways, let's look at these for now. Oh, Krau's aura. The only time he'll get it. Check them now? Oh, okay. Yeah, thanks. Cool. There we go. Krausara, very good to see. He's so chopped. He's so chopped. Oh, cool panel though. It's super kick-ass. But he's so chopped. That's sick. Oh, so sick. So sick. Wake me up when Loser relax. That was on the 16th? Whoopsies. Oh, I like that. Oh, I wish he said psych in my version. Big fan, I love that. Random thought, but Gap seems very much like a filler character to me. Like they needed someone for George to fight. I hope she has more involvement in the debate sections when Butler is debating against Beatrice, like how Virgilia and Ronove join in on those a lot. I hope Gap also joins in on them a lot later, so she can be more of a character than so far. Do we tell him? Filler Discord channel, exquisite rage face trigger. We're about to burst for that one. I'm just saying it how it is right now. I don't know. I'm just right now. While I'm going through this, she would be an E tier character. Okay. I've said that about other characters. I said that about Rosa before, and now look at me, right? Okay, so things can change. Oh, sick. The flowers. Gosh, this artist, dude. Oh, wicked. Oh, how lovely, how lovely, how lovely, how lovely. Yeah! Oh, yes! Yes! Oh my gosh. So good. It's too peak. Oh, it's so lovely. I was hoping you were including this one. I'm so happy. Oh. Gosh. And they actually did draw him without the jacket on. Holy peak. Oh, this is great. This is phenomenal. What? Thank you, Tomate. These have been very fruitful, and I am happy. But yeah. Now it's time to rest. Bye for reading backwards. I wasn't gonna mention it, I was just laughing. Yeah, nothing to say. That was a stream. That was a stream. We're not getting a stream for ever. And that is all. I leave now. Good night to everyone. Farewell. This was my apology for the 30-minute stream last time. I'm out. Good night. Farewell. Bye bye. Adios.